Hello, it's Sadie. I have a few things to tell you before this episode starts. One, we started recording saying, oh, we won't do a recap for every scene like we usually do with the movies, and at a certain point realized we were just compelled to recap every scene because it's a really good movie, and that's how we are when we watch Twin Peaks, so that just happens. We're not like doing the most in depth for all of them, but when I say that at the beginning that we might not recap all of them, that's a lie. As a result, we recorded over two sittings for this for like 6 hours. So this episode is going to come out Monday, April 6th, and this will cover the first half or so of Firewalk with Me. Next Monday, April 13th, will be a follow-up episode that will have the rest of Firewalk with Me. And then you will have two 2.5 hour episodes instead of one 5 hour episode. The week after that, on the 20th, our bonus episode will be Firewalk with Me, The Missing Pieces, the feature-length deleted scenes movie from this movie. Also, your next bonus episode for the Patreon geniuses is the month after. We will watch Montreal, My Beautiful, also known as Montréal, Ma Belle, a movie in which Joan Chen, of playing Josie in Twin Peaks fame, plays a lesbian, or a Chinese immigrant mother who acts on her lesbianism long closeted in Montreal. What I will say about that movie, as of right now, I'm not sure how you will be able to watch it, and I will try to find out. It's currently just playing in theaters. I don't know if it's going to have a home release or go on streaming, but if you live in Montreal, you can see it on Thursday, April 9th, this Thursday, and Sunday, April 19th, in like 2 Sundays. And it's very worth it. And then you can hear us talking about it. If you are not able to see it, we gave it a very thorough recap. Anyway, that's for the Patreon geniuses. But if you're in Montreal and you want to see it, make sure you do soon. You can go to montrealmabelle.com to learn more about that. Anyway, enjoy the episode. Bye. Actually, not bye. Because also, I'm just going to say some content warnings for this movie. I don't think we did that at the end of the season 2 finale. And here are some things that I will say. When we did Lonely Souls, I was like, episodes like this is why we have content warnings in this show. To be honest, this movie is maybe the biggest reason why that is something that we will do. If you've been watching and listening so far, you know that Laura Palmer was being sexually assaulted by her father, possessed by a demon, kind of, and like that was happening regularly. And then she was killed by him. She was addicted to drugs. She was being exploited by several other men. That is like what this movie is about. It was like billed as the last 7 days of Laura Palmer, and that is what it is. There is sexual assault, there is violence, there is murder, there is like attempted date rape, like with a roofie kind of thing. There's a lot. It is a heartbreaking movie. It handles all this respectfully, I think, but very grimly and very seriously, and in a way that is a difficult watch. So I think it's amazing. And, make sure you've had a nice day going into it, or a bad day in the way that that's a good thing for you to do. Oh, also, there are pretty intense flashing lights. I think especially the end, but like, once again, it is David Lynch using strobe lights in such a way that if that's something you're photosensitive to, you'll want to watch out for that, especially at the end, but honestly, kind of throughout as well. Okay, anyway, I hope you enjoy it. Bye! Hello, and welcome to TSTV, a show in which I, Sadie, guide my friend Lily through the wild world of Twin Peaks. It's my first time actually saying that, because we've been recording so many bonus episodes lately. Today we are watching Twin Peaks Fire Walk with me. Lily, how's it going?
Well, I finished this movie this morning, so if that's any indication, I'm, troubled. I'm a little troubled.
Yeah.
However, I've got my good pal here with me. I am eating a cinnamon-flavored granola bar and some ice-cold coffee,
Okay.
and I have a feeling it's all going to turn out okay. How are you, Sadie?
I'm doing pretty good. My cat Cricket's sitting next to me. I just had
Yeah.
coffee. I also have tea. Yeah. How much time do we want to spend talking about like what we've been up to? Because I feel like we can talk about this movie for like 12 hours.
Yeah, this is going to be a big one. I guess, let's each give like one thing we've been up to. You first.
Okay, well, I have 3, but I'm going to go fast. 1, I've been watching Columbo. You know, it's a great show. Columbo.
You were like, how much do we talk about? And I was like, one thing.
I know, but I'm going to be so fast. 2, I watched the movie Face Off. It's a silly movie. Do you know about Face Off?
I know someone's face goes on someone else's face.
Yeah.
John Travolta is one of them.
And Nicolas Cage. And then I realized between that and
Oh.
us watching Wild at Heart and then also watching Moonstruck for my birthday, I've been in kind of a season of Cage.
That's wonderful.
There's the fast ones. I think, you know what else? I rewatched Linda, 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 which I think I mentioned on the podcast when I last watched it. Because, Lily, you should watch Linda, Linda, Linda. You would love that movie.
I'm so sure that I would. It sounds like an absolute blast.
I think I mentioned it in the past, but it's about a group of schoolgirls in a school in Japan, and one of them is a Korean exchange student, and they are in a band, and they have to learn how to play a Japanese punk song in 3 days, and it's really good.
That's so cool. Wait, it's only one song?
I think they do a couple songs.
Huh. That's very sweet.
And also, you better watch it so that you can recognize the song for if we do that trip again this summer, because I guarantee you, every time I see your mom, I'm going to be like, Linda, 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 Linda. So,
Laura Drop, my mom's name is...
That's right. Anyway.
It'd be really funny if we censor that for privacy reasons.
That actually would be really, really funny. But still talk about the movie the same.
Oh, yeah. Anyway, sorry.
Those are my things. Like I told you, I did them so fast in like 2 minutes. You were so fast,
it felt like even just one. That's crazy.
Exactly.
Your mind. Wow.
How about you?
Yeah, okay. I will stick to one thing because it's going to take a little bit longer. I hope I didn't talk about this on a previous bonus episode, but so it's been the holidays, and last year, or maybe the year before, Dan and I started a tradition of going to like watch a movie right after Christmas. Mm-hmm. So the first year it was Monster by Hirokazu Koreeda, who's probably become my favorite director.
Ooh.
That movie was wonderful. This year it was Decision to Leave by Park Chan-wook, which is Dan's favorite movie. However, that was you know me. I'm busy. I have stuff going on. I live an illustrious content creation centric life. And so they thought, let's build a little challenge around this movie so that Lily will make a video about it, and therefore I can count on her to actually watch this movie with me. And that challenge was, pretend I haven't told you anything. Sadie, do you know the 999 challenge?
What is that? Are you supposed to add up the numbers? Because it's 27.
Oh my God, she did it. The 999 challenge is like, I'm not even sure to what extent it really exists, but it is at least a thing people post about, where within the 9 innings of a baseball game, you drink 9 beers and eat 9 hot dogs. And here in Montreal, we don't have baseball, and also it's the middle of winter.
Rest in peace.
So, yeah, rest in peace, Expos.
Now UP is an orphan.
Oh my God. That's so sad. A baseball game is about as long as Decision to Leave.
I love to be like, we better go through this fast because we're going to have to talk about Fire Walk with Me for 6 hours. And then 2 minutes later, it'd be like, and now to make some jokes about UP, the French Canadian mascot.
The real ones remember. Okay, a baseball game is roughly as long as Park Chan-wook's Decision to Leave. So they came over and we tried to each eat 9 hot dogs and drink 9 beers while watching it. And Vic was also a part of this. And Dan basically managed it.
Damn.
And Vic did the 9 dogs, but not the 9 beers. I was somewhere in the middle. I got most of the way on both, but did not succeed. And then I just felt like really sick for several days afterwards. So that's the main thing I guess I've been up to.
Wow. I
There's
love
your
that.
Lily update.
I love that for you.
Thank you. And by the time this comes out, actually there's a good chance the video of this is already out. So I will link it in the show notes.
Love it. Love it.
Woo. So
Woohoo.
that's the latest with Lily. Not thematically relevant to this at all.
Yeah.
Thank God, frankly. I have
Yeah.
nothing to say that is totally appropriate for this movie.
Yeah. Yeah. We have to get the sillies in while we can.
Yeah. Okay, I'm good. I'm normal.
Okay. You know what I will say about watching Columbo? Columbo would eat Dale Cooper's dinner. He would show up and like that guy's always rich. It's rich people killing their wives and people in their family. I feel like he would show up
That's
and
true.
just be like, "Now, Leland, tell me more about whatever." You know?
You know what? I have a bit of a counter argument to that, but I'll wait until we get to it in the
Oh,
movie.
interesting. Okay, well, speak. I guess shall we?
I guess we shall.
Okay, so for people who are listening to this who don't listen to our bonus movie episodes, first of all, you should give us $3 a month at tstv.show. It's worth it. Second of all, for the movies, because they're longer, we don't really do a scene by scene like recap. I think for this one, we will stay somewhat structured and go through like sequence by sequence, but I'm gonna do a big long recap at the top, so we're not recapping each scene as we go, just for time. So
And I should say about our movie episodes, this I think is David Lynch movie like number 5 at least that we've done,
yeah,
because we've done Eraserhead, The Straight Story, Mulholland Drive,
Wild at Heart.
Wild at Heart. Yeah, so this is number 5. Folks, we got such a backlog there. We got dozens of hours of exclusive stuff, or maybe dozen. So podcast. Your turn.
Podcast. Okay. Hi, everybody. It's time to cry watching the best movie ever made. So, first things first, we spend the first half hour of the movie following FBI agent CHET Desmond as he investigates the Teresa Banks murder in Deer Meadow a year before Laura Palmer dies. He gets introed to the case by Gordon Cole via Dancing Clue Girl. And then the case swiftly goes nowhere as he is rebuffed by basically every resident of Deer Meadow, except for beloved Harry Dean Stanton, which seems to be like an anti-Twin Peaks. Then, when he's reaching for Teresa's special green ring under a trailer, he disappears. Around the same time, at the FBI field office in Philadelphia, Dale Cooper is looking at himself in the security camera because of an unsettling dream he had, when suddenly, the long-lost Phillip Jeffries appears, played by David Bowie. He says, also he's doing a southern accent, "I'm not going to talk about Judy." "Now, who do you think that is there?" pointing at Dale Cooper. "I've been to one of their meetings. It was above a convenience store. We live inside a dream." And then he disappears, or was never there. The scene is overlaid with a nightmarish sequence of lodge entities, seemingly above said convenience store, where the following things happen. One, Mrs. Tremont and her grandson are there. The grandson says, "Fella victim," pointing at Bob. Two, the little guy, who we remember from our very first dream sequence, says, "This is a formica table. Green is its color. And with this ring I thee wed." And three, a guy in a weird mask jumps on and off of a box and says, "Electricity." So all that happens. Afterwards, Dale goes to the trailer park where Desmond disappears and sees that Desmond's car has "Let's Rock" written on the windshield. He tells Albert that he's sure the killer will strike again, but knows not where or when. Heartbreaking smash cut to Twin Peaks 1 year later. The intro song plays as Laura walks to school with Donna, does cocaine, and meets Bobby and James. She gives a heartbreaking speech to Donna about falling in space forever and all the angels are gone. She then finds pages ripped out from her secret diary, freaks out, and gives the rest of the diary to Harold, who doesn't believe her about Bob and all that. She says Bob wants to be her, and she has a flash of like scary possessed makeup face. Later, while Laura is preparing to do Meals on Wheels, Mrs. Tremont, or Chalfont, she's credited as Chalfont in this movie, and her grandson give her an ominous painting and a message that the man behind the mask is looking for her secret diary. just to say more about her name, this is the old woman that when Donna was investigating, she was had a grandson and he was doing like a weird creamed corn based magic trick. And then when they went back later, she was never there and it was someone else with the same name. So, anyway, having received this painting and scary message, she runs home in a panic, finds Bob in her room looking for the diary, who snarls at her, and then runs out in a panic. When she sees Leland emerge from the house, she realizes that he might be Bob. That evening, Leland seems to punish Laura for this by tormenting her at dinner about being filthy and having to wash her hands in a truly upsetting scene.
Oh, really bad.
Laura puts the ominous painting up on her wall, and it gives her a Black Lodge dream, in which we learn the following. One, the little man is the arm, and he sounds like this. Two, he and the Tremonts or Chalfonts want her to take that green ring from earlier, but Dale says not to. Three, dead Annie Blackburn appears in her bed and tells her, I've been with Dale and Laura. The good Dale's in the lodge and he can't leave. Write it in your diary. It's
What
terrifying.
what makes you think she's dead?
Um, because of how there's blood all over. I guess it could be like at the very least her with like bloodied and in the state that we saw her when she was taken to the Black Lodge.
Yeah, yeah.
I guess
Anyway.
dead is I'm reading. I guess we do I guess in the season 2 finale we get told that she was brought to the hospital. So unwell Annie somehow like superimposed there from the future from the Black
Mhm.
Lodge. Anyway, the next evening, Laura is going out tricking slash partying with Jacques Renault, and Donna insists on coming with. Also, on the way to the Roadhouse, the Log Lady gives Laura a heartbreaking Log Lady intro prophecy. Laura is like, "Fine, Donna, come if you want. You can't even handle this. Fuck you." But then, so they go to this bar in Canada. But then, when seeing Donna date raped, Laura freaks out and takes Donna home. There's a lot more to the scene, but we'll get to it. Leland picks Laura up from Donna's, and then while they're driving, Mike shows up and screams at Leland about creamed corn and how the thread will be torn. Leland has a flashback to killing Teresa Banks after setting up a threesome with her and then realizing that it was with Laura. That night, Laura goes to buy cocaine with Bobby, which turns out to be from the shitty Deer Meadow deputy, which I only realized now on like my fourth viewing because I'm very face blind. And he pulls a gun and then Bobby kills him. Now things
One
get
thing I have to say,
go.
you know what? I'll bring this up later. The
Oh,
face blind thing, you're not the only one by any stretch.
yeah,
Many people are confused about this.
yeah, yeah. So now things get really grim. Leland slash Bob drugs Sarah and assaults Laura, during which she finally sees that Bob is truly Leland. The angel in Laura's painting disappears. This isn't the ominous painting she was given. She just had a separate painting with some angels, but this one is gone
Hmm.
now. Laura sobs all day in school and no one cares. And then it's the beginning of the end that we know. She meets with James, tells him his Laura went away, that he doesn't know her, that she loves him, and then runs off to meet Ronette, Leo, and Jacques. Leo and Jacques rape Ronette and Laura. Then Leland shows up, knocks out Jacques, and Leo flees. Leland takes the girls to the train car, followed by Mike. Bob tells Laura he wants to possess her. Ronette is saved by a genuine guardian angel. Uh, Mike, at first, he seems like he's coming up to save them, but all he does is toss that ring into the train car and then leave. Uh, Laura
Right.
Laura puts the ring on, which seems to either force Bob to kill her or prevent him from possessing her. Either way, he does kill her. After dumping her body wrapped in plastic, Bob goes to the Black Lodge via Glastonbury Grove. Mike and the Arm demand that he give them all their Garmonbosia, which is translated as pain and sorrow, which Bob manifests as blood from a hovering puppet Leland, which seems to turn into creamed corn that the Arm eats. Laura's body is found, and a monkey whispers Judy. And in a final scene that makes me cry every time, Laura is now in the lodge, the red room,
Oh,
with Dale, sobbing, and then her angel appears. Crying, smiling, laughing, and crying some more, she finds a glimpse of sublime beauty in the heart of unimaginable suffering. That's the movie.
wow. Oh, dude. Oh my God.
Yeah.
Every second of this is just fascinating and bold and confusing and heavy and sometimes beautiful. Oh my god.
Yeah.
Man, I almost want to linger in the silence right now, but I know that this is a movie that you really love, and I wonder if you would tell me, just as we dip our toes into this, what is it for you?
So, something I said right before we started recording is this really is a show that goes through the Valley of Mid, and on the either side of it are the two peaks, because, like, it's so peak. That doesn't say anything about why I like it, but I mean, the core of why I love this movie is central to why, as we've been watching the show, I've been introducing the, like, metafictional analysis, but also pushing back
Mhm.
on that being the only thing, because I think this movie has a lot of that going on for sure, and has a lot of, like, capital L lore Twin Peaks stuff going on, but
Yeah.
I don't think that that is what everything else is in service to. I think what this movie is just a, like, really grueling, real, heartbreaking account of what it is like to be a young woman in an impossible situation, experiencing,
Mhm.
like, assault and exploitation and isolation, and you're in a context where no one is there for you, and you feel entirely alone, and you feel like you can't tell anyone, and when you do
Mhm.
tell people, they don't believe you, or they don't get it, or they don't care, and it feels like there's no way out, and just the, like, overpowering experience of that is captured in this movie in a more real way than, like, anything. And I
Yeah.
think that, like, part of what the surrealism does in this movie for me is
Mhm.
that it is I think this is, like, I'm sure that this is what I'm about to say is something that, like, actually exists as a, like, theory of literature or cinema, but it's like the experience is so unspeakable and so overpowering, and the emotion is
Mhm.
so intense that it can't be expressed via conventional filmmaking. You
Yeah.
know, like, the only way that you can express that is by, like, the angel disappearing, or, like, the I insane nightmare sequence in Philadelphia, you know? Like, the inchoate, like, just awfulness of it all, and, like, the beauty snuck in there can only be expressed in that way, and so I think that's, like,
Mm.
I think this movie really cements that, and like, that's not even talking about how I like it as a response to season 2 of Twin Peaks, and,
Mm.
you know, like, I think it just locks in on that emotional experience, like, perfectly, and then I think it's really, really, really interesting as a response to season 2 of Twin Peaks. I think, like, I do kind of love a adaptation or sequel that says, like, "Oh, the things you wanted from the first one? No, you're not getting that again. We're doing something else. Fuck you." That's
Totally.
I'm just always a fan of that, and I think,
Yeah.
like, everything that I had been saying in our, like, the early episodes of our show about the, like, underwater, like, submerged, like, undertow current of criticism at the idea of Twin Peaks: The Town is now laid out entirely clear, and I think,
Oh
like,
my god, yeah.
if the if one of the failures of, like, the Valley of Mid of season 2 of Twin Peaks is, like, and I've kinda said this, like, it was good at being goofy, right? I think it
Mhm.
wasn't always very good at being, like, emotive and sincere, and especially at, like, really understanding the darkness of the town. Like, it had everything with Josie that was very dark, but it felt very mismanaged and or, like, mishandled, and I
Mhm.
think this feels like a, like, shaking you saying, "Wake up, we can't just want Twin Peaks to forever be, and it's goofy, and we have apple pie." and like, haha, look at you, Dale. Like, if that's all you want Twin Peaks to be, and like I think this is a response to an audience that wanted Twin Peaks to be that, right? Then you are forgetting about the fact that like it is also central to this, that these structures and like this whatever, patriarchy, small town, all this like
Yeah.
does this to young women. And I think it is like a course correction, being like, you guys didn't want to think about that part? You just wanted to think about cherry pie? Well, now we're
Mm,
only living in the horror for 2 hours and 15 minutes. Like, get fucking real, you know?
yeah.
And it
Yeah.
it it fucking it blows me away for that. I love it as a like fuck you. And before we recorded, you were like, I get why people didn't like it in theaters, because we've mentioned like this movie bombed, and I said yeah, because they're idiots.
Yeah, what I meant by that was more like it's just so dense that I feel like I really thoroughly appreciated my second watch. And my first watch, it was like it was sort of washing over me, and I missed a lot of things, you
Yeah,
know. I can see why this is it's just like perfect for a cult audience, right? The kind of people
yeah,
who will
totally.
sort of hang on every word and really pick things apart. But no, it's like anti like Twin Peaks often goes down smooth in a way that this has no interest in doing.
Yeah,
Like even the criminal underbelly stuff has a bit of, you know, mischievous music going underneath, and like everyone's like smirking and scheming. Here there's really no joy in it. Like Bobby being one of those characters who like
hmm,
he's scheming and criminal and whatever, but it's like it's all very TV and therefore
hmm,
feels a lot lower stakes. Here he just like endures one of the worst traumas of his life and then is
yeah,
fucked up, and I don't know if we see him again after that, you know?
yeah, yeah. This world of the show is not one in which like crime, quote unquote, is like Ben Horn being like, a fiddle-dee-dee and buckle my shoe. I've got a scheme for me and you. It's like these teenagers are fucked up. Their lives are horrible. He's a shitty boyfriend. She needs him for drugs because she's getting raped very frequently, and they end up killing a guy. Like yeah.
Yeah, no, completely. As far as my if do you have anything else you want to
No,
say
take it
on
away.
this
Take it
like
away.
cool. As far as my feelings on this movie, yeah, completely loved it. Still kind of fucked up and like reeling a little bit, but one thing that is just like no matter any of the deeper symbolic thematic stuff, I just love spending time with Laura. Like I've been wanting
Yeah.
this, I've been waiting for this for so
Yeah.
long. And that first shot where we just get her walking down the sidewalk is it feels completely unlike anything else in the show. Like that is on par with the you know, little 30-second bouts of surrealism that we got for the like throughout the
Mhm.
first season, in that the show almost never gives you what you want. So when it happens, it's like, oh shit, let's go. Like I actually got emotional
Yeah.
in that moment. And then yeah, I don't know. My a pretty recurrent complaint for me throughout the show has been like, why aren't we spending more time with
Mhm.
the victims of this violence that we're all here to, you know, investigate or learn about? And here we get not only Laura, but like a pretty chilling insight into Sarah's life and
Yeah.
Ronette's and even Teresa, which I really wasn't
Yeah.
expecting.
And
Um,
like I think Donna in this movie is like,
yeah, it's true.
I like, to be honest, Donna in Fire Walk with Me, and this is not to comment on either of the actresses because that's different. Donna's played by a different actress, and I think we talked about that on one of the episodes, but well, we can talk about it a bit more. But like, not their performances, but just like the how they're written in the role that they play. I feel like Donna in this movie versus Donna in the show is a bit of a hydrogen bomb versus coughing baby, you know? But
Sure.
I think Donna in the show, we there was Donna's character, I think, kept getting just kind of thrown at romance with James and like high camp in a way that sometimes is really, really fun, but a lot of the times I think ended up not really having too much for her to do. And like Donna
Yeah.
here is like, when I think about Donna and Laura's friendship in this movie, I want to get my head run over by a train, you know?
Oh yeah, it's one of the best things about this movie for sure. It's so complicated. It's
Yeah.
really
Yeah.
there's so much love there and they still can't quite reach each other.
So,
Oh,
yeah.
fucked up.
And and also you are so right about like just having Laura and like, oh my god, Cheryl Lee should have won like 80 million Oscars. They should still be giving her an Oscar every year
Yeah.
for this movie. And like, I think truly this makes it like, wow, the way that she was playing Maddie so differently is like so fascinating. And yeah, I think like again, just kind of thinking of it as a response to season 2 of Twin Peaks, I think like saying no, a mystery isn't just to like have a crazy riddle that Brain Genius still has to solve. It's about like it's about this person and about their human experience of it is like, yeah, it's so good. Ugh.
Yeah, man.
So do we want to jump in chronologically and kind of go through sequence by sequence?
That would make sense to me. Yeah, let's do it.
So first whole sequence is the Deer Meadow thing, which is interesting because we just talked a lot about the movie and didn't really talk that much about the Deer Meadow intro.
Actually, before even that is the like
Oh
the
yeah,
title
just the title
cards with
card intro.
the
Yeah, which is great.
yeah, that itself is really interesting. So it's like there's this sort of repeating this like cycling pattern that's I found hard to identify at first. It's like blue and white. Eventually I decided like, okay, yeah, this is like TV static, but
Mm-hmm.
there's you can sort of see other patterns like emerging in it. It sort of looks like clouds. It sort of looks like there's like almost a fabric texture beneath it.
Mm-hmm.
And this movie will return to this texture like many times. Feels like feels like this movie has a lot to say about electricity, at which all
Oh yeah.
the main run of the show was like dancing around and kind of implying, but here it's all very clear, which I also love. I'm like, honestly, I hmm, as much as I get how this may have been unsatisfying, as someone who is interested in the motifs, they are giving us so much here
Yes, definitely.
with this and like the food thing and yeah, rules. Anyway, it goes from this into it like fades into a TV with static going, which Leland, well no, we someone smashes and we hear a scream
Yeah.
and then that's that scene.
Yeah.
And it just sort of tears you out of it. This sort of dreamy, almost kind of hypnotic intro. It's like, no, stop that. Fuck you.
Yeah, and I think like for everything I was saying about how I think really the core of this movie is the emotional experience of Laura Palmer, I think
Yeah.
all that said, I think I really lean into that because again, I think there's like a real habit online, especially amongst men, to only read it in the Lynchian metafiction. But that said, it's impossible to ignore that the first shot of the movie is a TV being smashed. This is saying fuck what I had to do for TV. I'm doing my movie now. You know what I mean?
Oh, yeah. No, there is a ton of that here.
Yeah. It's interesting the intro also being so very blue. Just in that
Mm.
is very oppositional to the like warm red and like autumn tones that I think define the TV show's color palette.
It's true. Blue is used really wonderfully and like pretty uh selectively in this movie. You got the static, the blue rose.
Mm-hmm.
There's that one incredibly striking shot of Laura's body on the water at
Mm-hmm.
sunrise.
Mm-hmm.
And then also Julie Cruz
Mm-hmm.
and in the final scene Laura get like drenched in this really gorgeous deep blue light.
Yeah.
It's so emotive.
Yeah. So yeah, with that intro, we then or like the actual like title card intro and all that, um we do go into the Deer Meadow kind of prologue. And yeah, the thing I was saying is, like, it is interesting that we just talked a lot about all the things we love about this movie, and we didn't talk that much about the Deer Meadow prologue. I do like it, but it is really its own thing. The first, like,
Yeah.
20, 25 minutes of the movie are just this whole other thing. I'm curious, I mean, honestly, because I think this was also one of the things that audiences didn't really fuck with. And actually, originally, this was going to be a Dale Cooper doing this investigation, and Kyle
Oh.
MacLachlan wanted to have a very limited involvement with the show, or
Mm.
with the movie rather. Kind of mixed reports onto why. I've seen it said it's because he didn't want to be typecast. I've seen it said that it's because he was still a bit salty over David Lynch just like not being there for the rest of season 2 at all. I've
Mm.
seen it said that it might be because of everything with him and Lara Flynn Boyle. But for whatever number of reasons, he was like, I'm only going to be in a couple scenes. And so instead, we don't get Dale Cooper at all. And this is like one of the things that people were like, why am I just sitting down for the Twin Peaks movie? In the first 30 minutes is this other guy and this other murder.
It is pretty weird.
But I'm curious how this all lands for you, this whole first bit as a whole, before we kind of jump into the individual bits of it.
Well, as much as it's not what I came here for, there's a lot that I like here. I like the new setting. I Lil is obviously
Mhm.
wild. That is like the one truly out there thing that I recognize in this. But Chester Desmond is not a character on par with Dale, but I
Uh-huh.
quite like Sam Stanley. I think he's like a super, super lovable and interesting guy. I like that it sort of sets up like a neo noirish or police procedural vibe with like they are just at a random crime scene and they're all in these like long tan detective coats.
Mhm.
But then it pretty quickly becomes its own thing. I think maybe what did it for me on top of just like the Lil thing was the when Chester like does the little got your nose at the police officer
Uh-huh.
in Deer Meadows. Yeah, I would say like I think given the constraint of not having Kyle MacLachlan present, the only real complaint I have is that Chester Desmond is not the most dynamic guy. But I like the investigation stuff. I
Mhm.
like the stuff with the Deer Meadows police. Feels very telling on like what Twin Peaks thinks about law enforcement.
Mhm.
Oh yeah, and I'm also just interested in Teresa. And I would say basically the first half hour feels like inessential but helpful.
Mhm.
You know? There's
So
things I like.
I think I have some thoughts on this.
Please.
And I have some thoughts about the like individual thoughts in specific scenes. I think the big takeaway from this sequence is like this town is almost an anti-Twin Peaks. The
Hmm.
diner sucks. The cops don't give a shit. They're mean as fuck.
Yeah.
Nobody cares about nobody.
Nobody cares about nobody. Hmm.
Without saying too much about the content of season 3, I think of this as on the arc between season 2 and season 3 in like how is the world of Twin Peaks changing? And it's interesting saying that because like in universe this happens obviously before,
Yeah, in the past.
but I think that just by virtue of being made after seasons 1 and 2 of Twin Peaks, I think that this show is or this movie is like a progression of things getting worse. And I think like even in how when we see like revisit Laura Palmer, it's like the okay. I'm kind of saying 5 things at once, and neither of them are really coming together the way I want them to. But here's a stab at this. When we see Twin Peaks later, it is a lot more like Deer Meadow in this movie than it is like Twin Peaks
Mm.
in season 1 and 2. You know,
Yes, totally.
there is something about this vision of the world that is more apathetic, that is grimmer, that has less of that charm that is like in Twin Peaks, the town in this movie. And I don't read it as like in universe chronologically, then Dale shows up and the town is special again, you know?
No, no.
I read it as through this like metafiction and just like very obvious like this is the order that things came out. The world of Twin Peaks in this movie, because it is made after that, is presented in that way. And that does exist in universe in some capacity. Like there's some kind of decay and like entropy happening in the universe that's like
Interesting.
happening outside of like strictly in universe time. And I think when very shortly we get to season 3, I think
Uh-huh.
that arc that I'm describing here will be more clear, is what I'll say.
Okay. Oh, interesting.
I think it also like just I think it's really tempting, and I did describe it as an anti Twin Peaks, but I think it is just setting up that the tone of this movie is one in which the cops are not there for Laura, that they like we don't see the Twin Peaks cops at all in this movie.
Oh my God, no. Harry and Hawk aren't in this, or Andy or anyone.
Yeah, right? Like they effectively are as good as like deputy fuck shit,
Deputy fuck
you
shit.
know?
Yeah, I mean, they don't try to kill any teenagers, but in general, they're completely useless for sure.
Yeah, right?
And in the show, they're also useless in that they like fail to prevent any crimes. They don't stop the mill from burning. They don't stop Josie from being killed. They don't stop Maddie from being killed. But that is like that failure is like intercut with a bunch of charming folksy stuff that like makes the condemnation like much softer,
Well,
or like you need to sort of read between the lines.
and it's intercut with them like finding clues and making progress on the case or whatever, even if in, you know, roundabout ways. Like by virtue of it being detective fiction, it's in a universe in which the things that cops do is necessarily in conversation with crime and stopping it and helping people,
Yeah.
even if they don't get there necessarily. But I think it's really important that like in this like genre space, the things that the cops do literally is not present at all. And like I think that's also really important. I think that like as we like yeah, what you're saying about like what does the show think about law enforcement, or what do we think about it as we read the show, is like
Mhm.
for the actual experience of these people living this, like the police are literally powerless to do anything. They are not in a presence where, even, you know, in a world where all the cops are Andy and we like them, they are you know, it's like Disco Elysium. Like the things that you are there to do is not, you're speaking a different language from what is needed to like make a real difference in Laura's life, you know?
Yeah, completely. And in particular, in this first half hour, like Chester Desmond goes in and tries to get the sheriff to do anything, and he really doesn't give a shit. Like he basically says, "Yeah, this is I really don't care about this. She didn't know anyone. No one knew her. She only lived here a month, whatever." Like it's all policing is about finding justifications to do nothing.
Yeah.
Um, well, I would say like embodying strength, right? Like the sheriff has a huge saw on his wall and a piece of a picture of himself bending metal.
Yeah, Cable, Ben Steele.
And it's potency that does nothing and also doesn't like want to. I think for him it's about the image,
Mhm.
the self-image, which is why they're content just keeping Teresa's body in the morgue out back
Mhm.
and not really doing any investigative work. All of the files are a seemingly empty filing box that the sheriff
Yeah.
just tosses
Yeah.
at Chester. He doesn't care at all.
And importantly, I don't know that it's actually that I don't walk away from the first like this first bit with a positive view of the FBI either. I think it's really
Oh
important.
yeah?
Yeah, I mean, okay, the very first scene when we meet Chet Desmond, he's uh he's in the middle of a field, he's like pulled over a school bus, all the kids are screaming,
Mhm.
and he's arresting the school bus driver and 2 sex workers. A bit intentionally like, "What? What is happening?" I don't know, the implication being that this bus driver was like trying to pick up like pick up like some sex workers on or get
I guess.
drugs or something. But
It's crazy.
it's being a bit goofy on purpose. But I think for the rest of the movie to be here's the experience of Laura Palmer's like as a teenage sex worker and being exploited and whatever, the first thing we see this guy do is arresting two sex workers, like doing violence to them, right? And like not helping them
Yeah.
at all. And then we just like the movie doesn't really comment on that. It just moves on. But I think that's like really important for like even this Chet Desmond, the things that he's doing would not actually help Laura Palmer if he showed up, right? If
No,
if if if
completely.
if FBI walked in right now, they would arrest her and
Yes,
like then go, okay, well, we're giving you back to your father now, at best, right?
definitely.
And even like when they're like confronting the shitty sheriffs, like Sam Stanley, I think is his name, um, is just like they
Mhm.
leave and he's just kind of been counting up like how much everything costs, and he's like, I think this whole office is $27,000. Like,
Including the furniture. I yeah, how did you read that? Like, what is he trying to do there? Is he just trying to say like, look at these dumb small town
I
cops?
think so.
Or is Thanks a lot, man.
Yeah. And just like even if they come in and they're actually investigating the murder and stuff, it is also a failure. They are basically not able to find anything out, and then Chet Desmond is teleported by the ring into question mark question mark question mark. But like, yeah, I I also want to say about the sheriff station. This isn't directly following what I was just saying, but
Uh-huh.
I love that his name is Sheriff Cable because of cable television.
Sheriff Cable. Oh, I thought you meant because of our friend Cable.
No, yeah, I mean, shout out to her. She's great. But I
Yeah, it was her birthday.
Oh, yeah, it was. But you know what I mean?
Cable, if
Like,
you're listening to this, well, go on.
yeah, like I definitely read that as like cable television did not care about what was important about the mystery, you know?
Sure. No, that makes a lot of sense. I mean, we know that they're very deliberate with names. I didn't clock that.
45?
Yep.
1,
One,
2,
two,
3,
three.
4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10.
Nice.
Okay. So, um,
Yeah. We were talking about
oh,
the local police
yeah.
guys.
I could lead us into just the whole little code of it all.
Yeah, great. And then from there, maybe into the diner?
Yeah, sounds good.
Cool, let's do it.
So, I feel like the big thing that I think we should talk about in this first sequence is the Lil code of it all. Like
This is fucking crazy.
yeah. So honestly, it's time for me to bust out my David Lynch impression because David Lynch has like 30 seconds in this scene and he makes all of them count. He shows up immediately and he's like, I've got a surprise for you, Chet. And then he shows up. He's like, give Sam Stanley the glad hand. He's from Spokane. He cracked this other case. Your surprise. Her name is Lil. And then Lil shows up and does a dance with all of her weird things. She's my mother's sister's girl, holding his face in front of his eyes. And then, like, Chet Desmond is just like, federal. And we're like, what the fuck? Anyway, good luck, Chet. Sam, you stick with Chet. He's got his own MO. And then, in case we didn't know what MO is, modus operandi.
This, like, David Lynch has given himself a character note, which is always say what words are, but mispronounce them.
Yeah.
Like the small Mexican chihuahua.
Yeah. Um,
I get that it's probably meant to have to do with his being hard of hearing, but I don't even know how those two things would fit together, so I can't even like be offended by it. I just think it's really funny.
yeah. So, what do you make of this? Because it really just comes and goes, and then we get them talking about it in the car, obviously, but
Yeah.
yeah.
I guess what I get from this is the existence of some super sophisticated FBI code makes me think, first of all, there is to some extent a need for being covert,
Mm-hmm.
which is strange. Like the whole blue rose pinned on her dress thing, they just no one is willing to say aloud what that means, and I
Uh-huh.
wonder why that is, you know?
We've heard the name Blue Rose before, right? That was like the special supernatural fucked up task force thing that Wyndham Earle was on or
Oh,
stole
was
information on or
it?
something. I think,
Oh.
yeah, I believe that Garland Briggs told us about this, that Blue Rose was for like cases that were freaky.
Okay. Cases that were freaky. I guess that makes sense. I do wonder how Gordon knows that, you
Mm-hmm.
know?
Mm-hmm.
Cuz like none of the police seem to think it's anything like supernatural. No one in the town thinks, and in particular they think that this murder is like, I mean, it's a murder of a sex worker by her client. This
Yeah.
is the kind of murder that the police take least seriously and are least surprised by.
Mm-hmm.
One thing the dance does is like it communicates information in a really condensed way,
Mm-hmm.
right? But I don't really understand why that needs doing. It definitely gives us a little bit of like, oh, these people are zany, and
Mm-hmm.
makes it a little less surprising that they might be equipped to deal with the supernatural things. But then these cops actually are not equipped. They don't think about that stuff
Mm-hmm.
at all, to a detriment. I think they miss several things that Dale would have caught.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I guess I would say the main thing it's doing is like setting a tone, but not even really a tone that is like upheld. I don't know. What do you think?
So I think this scene and so it's, yeah, she shows us her dance and her face and her dress and whatever, and then when they're
Hmm.
driving in the car, Chet is like, huh, well, Sam, a sour face is code for drugs, and blinking means that we're gonna have trouble with the eyes of the authority, that's the police. Like, it doesn't make any sense, right? Like, she had a hand in her pocket, which means she's hiding something, and the other hand in a fist, which means they're going to be belligerent. She was walking in place, which means there's going to be a lot of legwork involved. Like, Cole said
Crazy.
Lil was his mother's sister's girl. What's missing in that sentence? The uncle. Not Cole's uncle, but probably the sheriff's uncle's in federal prison. So it's like, it
Oh,
none of this makes
on
sense.
both watches, I missed the whole uncle thing. I was like, what the fuck does that mean with the bars and stuff? The fingers over his face. Okay.
I think that's the thing. The hands over the face is like behind bars kind of makes sense.
But like, what's missing? The
Yeah,
uncle.
no,
When you talk about his mother, sister's girl, I don't feel like the uncle is particularly missing.
it's not, well, and I can't operate on this. It's my son because the doctor was a woman.
So true. Um, here's a potential read on all of this shorthand. Is it about genre
I
conventions?
think that's part of it. I think like this is one of the things that I think you have to read as David Lynch saying something to the audience or something. Like, I think
Sure.
genre conventions of, yeah, like this kind of like espionage or detective fiction. Now, I think there's a read on this that I have seen online, and which I think is like certainly part of, I think, my role in our dynamic is being like, here's what people online and what like Twin Peaks fandom spaces have as a like generally accepted reading of this. But as always, I don't want us to just default to that, which is that this is
No,
like
definitely.
turning to the audience and saying, there are going to be weird clues in this movie that don't make sense. You try to figure them out. Anyway,
Ah,
when a guy says Garmonbosia
oh.
and with his creamed corn, think about that. In the same way that, like, it doesn't make logical sense that a sour face means that you're going to have trouble with cops, but like try to figure it out anyway. Now, like
Hmm.
telling us I that, like, Sam Stanley is kind of the like audience surrogate, like we need to start thinking like that as we watch the movie. Now,
Well, he's new in town, sort of. Like he's a little out of his depth with
yeah,
this
like Chet Desmond knows
investigation.
these
So
things and he's like, what? Sam Stanley is.
yeah,
Now,
yeah.
the thing is though,
Hmm.
I think that I'm not all the way sold on that. Like, I think that there's ways that make sense, but it also feels like it's kind of making fun of itself. Like, it also feels like the idea of approaching something like this movie or Lord the Palmer case or just like the in-universe like crazy things that happen with spirits and the lodges and whatever with a like strictly deductive mindset is going to it's just going to be absurd. The realities are going to like the connections aren't going to make sense and you aren't going to be able to follow it. And
Mm,
like I don't know, I feel torn. I feel kind of on both sides of it, of whether I think it is saying like to the, and I think honestly, this was a lot of the original run of Twin Peaks too, was being like, now
yeah,
audience, come solve the mystery with me, and also making it like I feel like I kept going back and forth on whether the show was inviting us to treat it like a puzzle box and try to solve it, or whether the show was saying, you think that you can solve this like a puzzle box? Go fuck yourself, you know? And I feel
totally.
similarly here. I feel yeah.
I think maybe one read of the whole puzzle box thing is like the clues we are being given clues,
Hmm.
uh, but they are this abstract type that like maybe only makes sense to the person experiencing
Mm.
the crime, right? Like
Mm.
in the same way that Laura in this movie is sort of in a register that no one else can
Yeah,
really
yeah.
relate to or really hear, even when they're trying to.
Mhm.
Maybe it's that, like, she saw these things around her as premonitions. I think we hear during the show that she wrote in her diary, "This is the night I
Yeah,
die,"
no,
right before she
absolutely,
died.
yeah.
Um, and maybe just like because we are not at the center of this, cannot successfully parse all of it. I don't know. I don't know. I think it is trying to make us want to investigate and also trying to set us up to fail.
Yeah, I think maybe that's how I feel about it, is really I do think that it is telling us, like, "Come, think about it. What could this mean?" But I think really where I differ from the, 5-hour Twin Peaks Explained YouTube video essays of the world is, like, I think we are asked to do that. I think to do that and be like, "I have reached a definitive answer that explains it all," is a mistake.
Yeah, sure, that makes sense to me. There are a couple things that I guess I am struggling to interpret right now as like these striking new symbols.
Mhm.
Definitely the creamed corn, but also the formica table.
Uh-huh.
I truly don't know. And we can get into all that.
Well,
I'll be curious what you
honestly,
think.
I think we can just get into that now. Like, I think we can go chronologically, but I think we can let ourselves get into like these big topics as we encounter them. Um,
Sure.
because I think this will inform also us talking about the actual events of the movie of to like have these things in mind. And this is why it's like definitely a watch it multiple times movie, you know?
Oh
So,
yeah. Oh
okay,
yeah.
creamed corn
Please.
has appeared previously in Twin Peaks. Do you remember
Yes.
this?
In the hands of David Lynch's son slash Mrs. Tremont's grandson.
Yes.
And then he makes it disappear, I think.
That is exactly true. He like I am consulting the notes on Twin Peaks Wiki from that episode. So Donna brings the Meals on Wheels. It has a side of creamed corn. Mrs. Tremont is like, I requested no creamed corn. And then the boy like teleports it into his hands. And she said, he's been studying magic. Um,
Yeah.
so am I correct that the word Garmin Bosia has never been uttered before this movie?
I re- I really don't think so. And thank God for the subtitles translating it because why would Garmin Bosia mean that, right?
Yeah, no, absolutely. I think that one's like that's just in the original. Like that's not even they don't like that's not even in like the subtitle files. They were just like, yeah, you're gonna have
They're
to see
baked
that.
in,
Yeah.
yeah.
So,
It's interesting. There are scenes where you can't really make out what's being said, and there are subtitles, and there's
uh-huh.
scenes where there aren't. Again, just making me think, okay, this is the kind of thing you watch many times.
Yes. So oh, and creamed corn was actually in one of the Log Lady intros as well. So I was like, yeah, this is something that will
Really?
return. Yeah, there I see a where does creamed corn figure into the workings of the universe? What really is creamed corn? Is it a symbol for something else? very great. I wonder if
Hmm.
that was recorded after they shot the movie because it was when it was syndicated. But okay,
Oh,
so
yeah.
here I'm just gonna try to here's what we know. Garmin Bosia is pain and sorrow. We have been
Yes.
told from the show previously that the spirits consume pain and sorrow. It is what they eat,
Mm.
right?
Mm.
Um, or at least I think that we've been told Bob persists on pain and suffering and whatever. Um, we know that uh in that crazy dream sequence overlaid with David Bowie, the arm, who I guess I can officially call the arm now. I've been calling him the little man the whole time. And now,
Oh, I thought he was the man from another
or the man from
place.
another place. Maybe I should have been calling him that, frankly, but as of now, I'm going to call him the arm because that's what he calls
Okay.
himself. The arm tells us Garmonbozia while holding the corn. We see him at the end of the
Hmm.
movie eat creamed corn after demanding Garmonbozia from Bob and being like, I want all my Garmonbozia. And then Bob sucks the blood out of Leland and throws it on the floor. This is what I'm about to say is a very fandom accepted read, but
Okay.
I think is you can put this together from having seen all this across the show and movie. Garmin
Uh-huh.
Bose is the pain and suffering they eat, which is represented as creamed corn.
Okay,
These
yes.
these
That makes
things
sense to
are
me.
are are like synonymous somehow, you know?
Yeah, and also towards the end with the whole I want my Garmin Bosia thing, Leland's blood or the blood on his shirt is turned into creamed corn, it seems.
Yes, yes, I agree with that.
Hmm.
Um,
Fascinating.
Now the Formica table thing is uh one that is I think a lot less clear in text. And so this is
Mm.
also one that this is really fun. Doing this movie is really when I get to sit down and be like, Lily, here's the lore that I've been not saying shit about for 25 episodes. Um,
You're so real. You've really protected me. It's been so annoying not being able to look up
yeah,
anything about this show or participate in any fan
uh-huh.
groups or whatever.
And you're not even done yet. But so, let's just start with what we know just from this movie. There's that ring, right? The ring has some kind of dark spiritual power or significance. The ring is green. Um,
Dale thinks that Laura shouldn't take it. She wakes up from a
yeah.
dream, or she sort of in a dream is holding it, and we don't see her get rid of it. It's just sort of gone.
Yeah. And then she wakes up and it's not there, and then it's thrown to her by Mike at the end. Um,
Yeah.
I think it is, and just sticking with strictly what is in the text, somehow putting the ring on seals her fate, and Bob kills her instead of trying to possess her, which from him putting the mirror underneath her and everything seems to be what his intent was. He
Hmm.
wanted to be her or he would kill her. But it seems like and we were told this by Leland in I think arbitrary law, right? I think he was he wanted to be her, but she was too strong. She wouldn't take him into her the way I did. Um,
Right, right.
and it seems like somehow this ring was a part of this. Now, there is a common fan reading on that is the ring somehow insulates her against uh Bob's possession.
Huh. It felt more ambiguous than that to me because,
I
like,
agree.
oh, wait, okay. I'm gonna tell you why.
Uh-huh.
It felt ambiguous to me because, well, first of all, there's that picture of Teresa where she's wearing
Yeah.
it, and I mean, she was still killed. Second, the Dreamdale says not to take the ring, but hold on a
Uh-huh.
second. What if that's the evil doppelganger Dale?
So
That could be a Dale trying to lead her
I
astray.
think I think, like, let's run with the idea that that's what the ring does. I don't want us to take that for granted. I think this is one of those things that, like, in online spaces or whatever, like, people will be like, "Oh, yeah, the ring, it's what stopped him from possessing her." Like, I think if we look at the fandom wiki summary of this movie, it will say that. I don't want us to take that for granted, but let's run with that, right? So, Formica is a brand, actually,
Oh,
of, like, this type of countertop. It's very funny. It's actually because it was used to replace mica, which is just a, like, mineral,
like a
and
soft
they took
mineral.
on the
Yeah.
name because it's the replacement for mica, which is very funny. And um, it was used as an electrical insulator to, like, stop electricity
Oh.
passing through things, right?
Oh.
This
And they also mention it being green.
Yeah, so, like, I think if we're reading it like that, we're being shown this formica that's the same, like, color as the ring, just and we're getting told a lot about electricity in this movie to be like, okay, electricity is part of how these spirits pass through things. Maybe this ring that's being evoked with the formica is an insulator in the same way. Again, I want to complicate that because, like, formica is also the name of, like, a wood ant, and the idea of, like, an invasive species that, like, burrows
Oh.
into a tree and eats the wood, trees and wood all over this show, like, that's another image, like, thing that it evokes that is, you leave that completely aside if you just go with the, like, electrical insulation read, you know? But I think if we
Mm-hmm.
run with the
Hmm.
idea that the ring somehow stops the possession through this, like, we're saying, okay, this is evoking this insulating material, it's doing that,
Yeah.
we can see that as she's choosing between, like, being possessed by Bob or being killed. Now,
Mm.
like, it seems like the other spirits wanted her to take the ring. Maybe they don't want Bob to become someone else. It's very unclear. But let's say, like, that's the thing. We could see this as
Okay.
Dale being like, don't take the ring because by taking it you are dying. And Dale the optimist is like, no, just get possessed by Bob and then we'll figure it out. Which, like, and the thing is, like, that, like, I'm saying that, and that's a read that is really several layers of connective analysis. Like, it's very circumstantial evidence to get to that. I think what's in the text is a lot more ambiguous. But I think, like, we know that this ring, like, the with this ring I thee wed somehow, like, marks you as a victim of Bob or of these spirits. And also, maybe touching it teleported Chet Desmond into the lodge or something. He certainly disappeared, and in the past, when people have disappeared, they've gone into a lodge. So maybe that's what happened to him. It, like, I think it is intentionally doing a lot of things in a way that is evading one clear reading. But that's, like, I'll just put that out there for you to have in mind as we continue discussing, as, like,
Okay.
some of the things that it could be going on with it.
Cool.
And similarly, like, I
Cool.
don't know really if I think Dale saying don't take the ring is Dale saying these spirits are misleading you, they're trying to lead you to your death, don't take it, or if he's, like, misguidedly optimistic about being able to, no, no, just don't get killed, I'll somehow get out of here and then save you or something, you know? It's unclear.
Yeah.
So that was a big
Hmm.
aside from from talking about Lil and the codes and all that.
I would love to move from here on to the diner scene, which
Yes,
I think is really
please.
interesting. Okay, so, oh, well, first we have the autopsy, don't we?
Mhm.
So, what the fuck are their names? Chester Desmond and Sam
Mhm.
Stanley go behind the police station. They take a look at Teresa's body. The first thing you notice, or at least I notice, is she looks exactly like
Yeah,
Laura.
yeah.
Very strikingly. I think she was only mentioned by name during the run of the TV show, and this is great. Um, at this point, I did think, like, huh, these are two federal agents, and they're giving this a lot of attention for a sex worker who was murdered,
Mhm.
which is really the kind of crime that police spend
Mhm.
next to no effort investigating, right? The only justification I can come up with for that is that Gordon like knows something and I don't know what it is and I don't think we find out, but I don't know. We do see that what's his fucking Dale. But we do see that Dale comes to him with his like subliminal subconscious
Mhm.
stuff. So, I don't know, that's interesting. Also, Sam notices that the ring is missing here
Yeah.
from Teresa's hand. So it's interesting to consider. I mean, was it, I guess it must have been taken off when she died and she had been holding on to it for
A while.
protection? That makes sense to me.
It's honestly unclear to me. Like, it feels like the ring it feels to me more like the ring marks her for death than it was protecting her. But I don't have
Interesting then
any
that it's
evidence for that. It just
gone.
feels like the vibe.
Sure. Interesting. Um Also, just the morgue itself is like so it's half of it is made of wood. It's so dingy, it looks like a tool shed.
Yeah.
Which really makes it feel like, okay, yes, these are like men of the law doing official actions, but don't don't let like a sterile setting convince you. But like if it was a sterile setting, you would maybe not think so much about the fact that they are ripping a woman's fingernail off. In this setting, it's like, oh no, this is actually super gross, isn't
Yeah,
it?
and there's like the horrible strings are winding through it. It feels very like invasive and industrial.
Yeah. Um, okay, one minor note is I definitely saw Teresa breathing throughout this
Oh
whole
yeah,
scene.
same. But I kind of like that. I think it was kind of like to
Uh,
me I was kind of like, "Oh, scary."
Interesting. Yeah, I think it slightly took me out
And
of it,
also
but
having played a corpse on a TV show, that shit's hard.
I'm sure it is. I'm sure it is, no doubt.
um, do we want to do diner?
Yeah, okay, diner. So from there, they're like, "Oh shit, it's like 3:30 in the morning or whatever. We better go get some food." And somehow they enter this diner through a room that would be more at home in Eraserhead, to be honest with you.
Yeah.
It's like three guys fucking around with electricity, and I don't even really
I think they're
remember
like trying to
what
fix a
happens.
lamp. The thing I really want to note of this is like, so in the scene that we get in above the convenience store, the light is flashing and there's a bearded guy. Um,
Yeah.
and in the diner, this light is flashing because they're fixing this lamp, and there's a bearded guy sitting who's just staring straight at the camera.
He is. There's a few moments of that in this movie. Oh my god.
And I don't have I this is one of those, like, I don't know what that capital M means, but I think it's like telling us, oh, the world of like somehow the world of spirits and stuff is like being evoked here, kind of similar to the future Roman baths. Like when we saw that in One-Eyed Jacks, and it was like, oh, somehow the red room is like overlapping with this place. I feel like that is
It's
also happening
true.
here with that guy just being there and the exact same effect and him looking right at the camera.
Well, the scene in Eraserhead that reminded me of this is like the machinist, right? Who's
Mm,
often interpreted as being God in that
yeah.
movie. So that feels connected. Yeah, I don't want to linger on this too long. Super quick scene, but it is interesting to me how hmm, David Lynch on some level agrees with a lot of these like embedded American ideas, you know, like the small town is beautiful, a beautiful lady is a wonderful thing, whatever. One of them is like God is an old guy with a beard. And it's interesting what he does with that in Eraserhead. I don't remember if that guy has a beard, but he's like a guy up in the sky
Mm-hmm.
working his
Mm-hmm.
machinations. Kind of feels like it's doing that where, you know, there are characters that evoke that make you think they might have some sort of religious potency, but they don't they can't do anything to stop any of the bad stuff.
I Here's what I'll say. Let's see if a guy like this, a weird spirit guy with a big beard and kind of like a soot blasted face, comes back.
Let's see. Who could know?
Yeah.
Anyway, from here they move inside the diner and they try to question Irene. This is she's like the
Mm-hmm.
waitress. She worked with Teresa. She doesn't really know anything. What I want to talk about in this scene is that there is uh, an older man sitting at the counter who interjects a couple times into
Mm-hmm.
this questioning and seems to have something he wants to say.
Mm-hmm.
And they decide not to talk to him because it's like the wee hours of the morning and they don't want to keep working or something. Uh Dale would not have fumbled this because with this man is a beautiful French woman who is speaking French and is dressed fancy like the
Uh-huh.
grandson and speaking French like the grandson.
Uh-huh.
And it feels like there must be,
Yeah, she
like,
says, "The
she
nuit
knows
est
something.
le bon moment. The night is the right moment."
Yeah. Dude. And most of the bad stuff in Twin
Yeah.
Peaks happens at night, you
Yeah.
know? Uh, it's a whiff. Similarly, something we do learn from Irene, the restaurant lady, is that Teresa's arm was numb for a full
Mm-hmm.
week and she couldn't use it before she died. Sam takes this and thinks, okay, it's probably a nerve problem. I'll take the body to Portland for analysis. That's not going to get anywhere.
Mm-hmm.
Like the dead arm, from what we know, would definitely have more to do with Mike,
Mm-hmm.
a one-armed man, or maybe, Laura, like sometimes my arms bend back. I keep thinking about.
Yeah. It's like almost like
It just,
the ring, I don't know, somehow like yeah, like killed her arm or something. It's it's unclear, but yeah, I agree that these are things that they are just like, anyway, I don't need to look
yeah, they're
into
working
that.
on their logic is more like a little closer to the noir detective thing, and it does not serve
Yeah.
them. And not that taking the spiritual approach, I would reasonably expect Dale to do anything here either, to be honest with you.
I think it's important also that this diner lady is like definitely an anti-Norma. Um, she is
Mm.
again. We were just in our last bonus. We were saying like David Lynch definitely does believe the Wizard of Oz. Like only bad witches are or bad witches are ugly. She's not
Yeah.
conventionally attractive, and she's like, want to know our specials? We don't have any. Fuck you. You know.
Yeah, and then the scene just
Yeah.
ends. Really
Um.
funny.
So trailer park.
Yeah, totally.
I like without again. I think we'll like without doing too much recap. I do just want to say I love Harry Dean Stanton. I love every time he shows up. He's so careworn.
Mm.
Um,
Are you making a point of using that in every episode now? Because I didn't know what it meant.
um, I this is like again. It just feels like the vibe is bad. It feels like the world is, dirtier and gungier, and people are poorer, and it feels like that is, like it feels like post Twin Peaks, not pre Twin Peaks. And I think in the way that this movie came out after the show,
Sure.
that feels true to me. I really love the like various shots of the electricity pole we get with the another thing telling us like the spirits are somehow doing things with electricity, but like David Lynch is so good at
Yeah.
like making something like an electric pole with a 6 on it feel terrifying all of a sudden, you know?
I know, eh? It's a lot of it is about music.
Yeah.
Um, I really love that. Okay, well, first of all, I thought it was Rod. I'm not
Oh,
sure,
I
but
just because
anyway, his name
your
is.
note said Rob, and I was going to do a great joke about how they were all just reminding themselves to rob him. But anyway,
um, anyway, it's like he's always on the verge of tears. Like
yeah,
any little thing could send him over the edge. He's just
yeah.
so, yeah, tired. He's got this band-aid bloodied on his forehead. It's like a really lived-in world. And now I'm just thinking about the Dale exchange that happens later. That's so funny. But anyway.
Um, I I think like what really gets me here is like what you were saying about just his character.
Mhm.
I love his like kind of on the edge of panic as like he's realizing that shit is like going south. He's like, I've already gone places. I just want to stay where I am. Is so good.
Oh, I love that. It felt almost like a non sequitur to me.
Oh,
Like it
definitely.
makes sense emotively, but on my second watch, I realized I had no idea what it
Mm-hmm.
meant. And there's a few of these in the movie um, that just sort of like wash over you until you think about them. And I guess it mostly serves to, it's like a, if anything, it kind of creates distance, right?
Mm.
Like it feels, it's beautifully written, but it's very movie. And the the other occurrence of this I'm thinking of is when Donna comes in to find Laura like pouring a drink and smoking a cigarette,
Mm-hmm.
and they both just exchange a few lines of dialogue that are like, yeah, grammatically correct, but huh,
Uh-huh.
what?
Uh-huh.
It really just like threw me off balance a little bit.
Well, let's talk about when the guy disappearing. So it's like, see,
Sure,
we get
yeah,
like a like, brief scene of him being like, we're taking the body. And then he goes back to the trailer park and he's like looking under a trailer. At first I thought it was Teresa's trailer. It's unclear to me, but like based on
yeah.
Dale, when Dale goes back and then it's the Chalfont's trailer, I think it might be the Chalfont's trailer. And the lights are on, but there's no one in there. And we hear the warbling, and he reaches for the ring, and then scene's over, and we're to understand that he's somehow disappeared. What do you think about that?
Oh, I didn't realize we were meant to assume that he disappeared as a result of taking the ring.
That's my read, definitely, is like somehow
Okay.
he reaches for it. And in my mind, the what the cutaway is telling us is like as soon as he touched it, he's gone.
Hmm. Interesting in conversation with the next scene in which a man also just like disappears
Yes. Yeah,
into thin air.
definitely.
Yeah, I guess the only thing I can think of here is like if the ring does draw the forces to possess you or whatever, maybe this motherfucker is suffering imperfect courage, you know? And
Ooh.
therefore he just gets whisked away and cannot like resist the way that Laura has been.
Yeah. The my other note on that was like the highlighting of electricity and that the lights of the trailer are on, but there's no one in there. It feels like again somehow the electricity is part of how he gets whisked away or the spirits like travel or take him or whatever. Um
Sure.
but yeah, so that's the whole intro. It is kind of like this weird thing. It sets this tone and then it's just and he's gone. And that's it.
Yeah. When the two FBI agents are inside Teresa's trailer, there's this older woman who comes up. We get a shot from
Mm,
her point of view
yeah.
that's like way smooth. It's like she's just sort of floating up to the trailer almost.
Mhm.
She comes in, she's like, late 50s. She's got the exact same face paint as the corpses in this movie.
Mhm.
And they
Mhm.
ask her if she knew Teresa, and she doesn't say a word and she just leaves. Um, I do notice that she is holding a like an ice pack over her head, not dissimilar from how Teresa was like killed by being
Mm.
bludgeoned in the head. I wonder if this is just like meant to be like this is a woman who has endured a ton of violence
Mhm.
and sort of in the same way as Alora, no one knows what to do with her,
Mhm.
She just leaves and
I agree.
they don't think to follow her or anything. It occurred to me that this could have been like a relative of Teresa's. I don't know. Do you have any other thoughts?
Well, actually, yeah, I will say something about that. And I think I'm gonna say something about this that is a bit responding to one of your future notes a little bit. One of
Okay,
your future
sure.
notes you said, "Oh, it seems like the Black Lodge is like interacting with the world more than like you would have thought from the show."
Yeah,
Um
I'll have a lot to say there.
and I think that ties into stuff like this lady where this is what I was saying earlier about like I think this what we're seeing here is an arc of the world post Twin Peaks the show, and I'm just gonna keep saying it that way. And I'm gonna say right now I'm gonna stop every time having to clarify the weird temporality because like
Sure.
Laura sees Annie from the future. We know that the Black Lodge beings are like outside of time and also their sense like they exist somehow metafictionally. So I think to them and to the like
Mm-hmm.
spiritual forces of the world, the fact that a movie was made after the show, even if it takes place before, means that it's after. And there's a sense of
Mm-hmm.
like the world is both more intertwined with the supernatural and more gungy and degraded and apathetic, and the coffee is bad instead of good. Like they get served bad coffee. The coffee at the diner doesn't seem
Yeah.
great either.
All the coffee is gross, yeah.
And I'm thinking a bit about season 3, and spoilers a little bit, but like I think this is all part of the same thing, where the sense of the world being intruded on more by the supernatural and the world just being a
Mm-hmm.
grimmer place, I think, are very entwined. And I think the same,
Okay.
though they're entwined in like this vision of like we're on this arc of the progression and degradation of the world in that way.
Sure. Yeah, this completely makes sense.
Anyway, Philadelphia.
Anyway, Philadelphia.
Okay,
Hit me.
I mean, God,
Hmm.
I know we really
This is
can't do a
really
recap of everything, but like we do have to talk about this sequence.
well, yeah.
Cause like, okay, so Dale is like I was worried about today because of the dream, and he seems to be like checking his dream. Like whatever he dreamed about, he's like the sense I get of it is he's like, I had a dream that something weird happened. I'm gonna check to make sure that it will or won't happen. And somehow his doing this is standing in the hallway, staring at the security camera, walking into the security office, looking at the like second delayed of himself in the security feed and being like, okay, nothing weird is happening yet. And then it does.
And then it does, and specifically like he walks out of the hallway and the him in the video just stays there.
Yeah.
And instead of David Bowie and him like not overlapping in the hallway, David Bowie keeps walking and other Dale is staying there, and he looks so evil and
I
scary.
know. Yeah. Well, yeah. So yeah, like the elevator opens and there's a little reversed like audio sound effect of like there's a little
Oh.
like whoop of like wind or whatever.
Oh
And
shit.
then Phillip Jeffries leaves the elevator and he walks up and like I was almost like, do we like play this audio? But I think the audio will be insane and incomprehensible, which to be honest, the scene is too, but definitely a lot of it is you're seeing these things. But he just like walks in and like Coops panics as soon as he sees him. He's like, fuck. And like Courtney Cole is like, Cooper, meet the long lost Phillip Jeffries. You may have heard of him at the Academy. And I just want to say, I didn't say this in the intro. It's fucking like we don't have any more context for this. David Bowie walks in and we're like, what the fuck? And then David Lynch says, this is the long lost Phillip Jeffries. And we don't know who the fuck Phillip Jeffries is or what
No.
he's long lost. And then he just goes, I'm not going to talk about Judy. We're not going to talk about Judy at all. And then he points at Coop and says, who do you think that is there? And then like he immediately goes into like this is I'm sure if we watch the missing pieces then like I know that there's fuller versions of this scene, but the scene just starts
Okay.
being cross-cut with the like above the convenience store.
Which seems to be the things that David Bowie has like seen or experienced. He says, I went there, I think.
Yeah, I've been to one of their meetings. um and it's crazy. It is discordant.
Extremely. Yeah, no, it's so much. Before we get into sort of what I can almost only call a vision, I want to talk about the who do you think this is there?
Yeah.
If we're supposing that Phillip Jeffries was just in the Black Lodge,
Hmm.
which is my read, um, I wonder if he encountered Evil Dale there.
Yeah, I
Like,
definitely
I wonder if he doesn't trust Dale. They clearly haven't met before.
I definitely read that, and I think this reinforces the like atemporality of like the Black Lodge and everything. At this point in universe, Dale Cooper is just Dale Cooper, but like somehow Phillip Jeffries is like he is or will be a evil doppelganger in the future. Is so
Either
good.
either this or Dale's doppelganger has always existed. I mean, we
Mm.
kind of get a sense in this movie that a lot more people have doppelgangers than I thought,
Uh-huh.
to be honest, and like maybe that's just a thing that everyone has by default even.
Tell me more about that.
Yeah, sure. Well, I wonder if there is, for instance, a let's call them good Dale and evil Dale,
Mm-hmm.
good Leland and evil Leland. We do see Leland like in the Black Lodge looking less evil in this
Hmm.
season 2 finale. Um,
Wait, he
Laura
looks less
similarly
evil in the season 2 finale or compared to the season 2 finale?
in the season 2 finale, like he just doesn't have this like evil vibe about him, and he's kind of
What?
dressed a little more
I
like a normal
disagree. When
guy.
we saw him in the season 2 finale, he had like the whited out eyes and he was like, I didn't kill anyone with his big smile. And then he was like laughing as Evil Coop was chasing.
Okay, that's true. Um, let me try to figure out how I want to put this.
Yeah.
In the season 2 finale, Laura is present
Mm-hmm.
in the Black Lodge and feels like a menacing force that Coop feels he needs to
Mm-hmm.
get away from. Um, I think at the end of this movie, again, my read is Laura dies, but either good Laura continues to exist in the Black Lodge, or maybe
Mm-hmm.
evil Laura continues to exist in the Black Lodge. Like, I wonder if there are sort of these dual selves
Uh-huh.
for everyone, you know?
I
And
think we can be reasonably confident in the season 2 finale when we saw versions of characters that were like very clearly being evil, they all had the whited out eyes, including
oh,
evil
sure.
Laura. But I think you're still
Okay.
onto something.
Okay. I definitely like, I'm calling them good so and so and bad so and so. I don't think a mainstream real world Coop is like incapable of severely fucking up.
Uh huh.
Uh, but I do wonder if this evil Dale has just always been there. Or it could be the thing that you're talking
I
about, where
mean,
like this movie came out after the
well,
show.
I think that's I support what you're saying 100%. I think that is absolutely something to think about.
Cool. Yay. Okay. So about the super dense, symbolic
Uh huh.
whole thing that happens here with Phillip Jeffries.
Yeah.
The one thing that I want to say is that it takes place in above the convenience store, which is like a dingy,
Mm-hmm.
big warehousey loft room.
Mm-hmm.
But then at the end, we see them leaving the red room.
Yeah.
So I guess one read of that is it could be that the above the convenience store is a portal in the same way as
Mm-hmm.
that spot in the woods,
Mm-hmm.
but it could also just be like that it's both. You know, this movie seems to draw less of a hard line where it's like you need to enter and exit through the portal, and more like these worlds are just completely overlapping. You know, like the
Mm-hmm.
way that it's not in this movie Leland or Bob. It's 100% both of them. You
Yeah.
know.
Yeah.
Anyway, the rest of this is mostly mystifying to me, and I would love to hear your takes.
Well, actually, I really love your note about superposition, like vis-a-vis this. Like,
Yeah, I think they're in both the Red Room and the above the convenience store, and these don't look the same, but they are the same place somehow.
yeah, yeah. I think I think that is like not dissimilar from having a good self and a bad self that are like separate but the same and they're like superimposed or like superpositioned somehow, you know?
Hmm.
Um I don't really know enough about superposition as like a physics thing, but I know broadly it's like there are two places and there and it does the same thing to two places. Uh,
Are you thinking of entanglement?
oh, I am thinking of entanglement. Wait, what's superposition? You wrote it, but
In physics, I don't actually know. I'm thinking of it in like a purely creative sense. I think a lot about two things occupying the same physical space. Um, yeah, in physics, I honestly have no idea.
well, okay, this is fucked up. I'm gonna screen share something to you right now
Okay.
because I've just opened the Wikipedia page for superposition, and this is real girl opening Wikipedia page going whoa, but like one of the first headers wave superposition as we see these this I'll try to isolate this GIF and put this in the show notes or whatever, but like these like could be sine waves or electromagnetic waves or electricity or whatever like doing this wave traveling up and down in the superposition, and that's fucking Twin Peaks, baby.
It's true.
um
Hmm.
like, mainly this scene is just fucking amazing. Like, this is really, I feel like this is a real litmus test for like, are you built for this? Because I'm sure for to a lot of people, they're like, oh, Dale Cooper's here, and then they're like, what the fuck is David Bowie? And then this is happening, and this is the part every time when I watch this movie where I sit up and I go like, oh fuck, this movie's so good. It
Time to
is
lock in.
so nightmarish and overwhelming. I want to talk a little bit also about just do some more like baseline establishing things that we could draw from the what the movie's showing us. Um
Hmm.
so and also I kind of the name Judy is used in this movie. It never comes up in this movie. It will come up in the future. I'm going to tell you right now. People are going to be talking about Judy. Um so I'm
I
going to
figured as much. It comes up once at the end. The
yeah.
monkey says
Yeah.
Judy. What the
Yeah,
fuck?
and that's it, right?
My
Go for it.
my assumption right now is that this is another woman who survived or suffered some
Mm.
immense psychic spiritual violence, and maybe Phillip Jeffries was investigating that case.
I love that read. Yeah. Well, so I think like how, this is something I've said about how I think David Lynch does things in this show where he will introduce something that's just like, what the fuck? And then later on will answer it, but while put introducing more questions. Like I think it is here because he thought it might be the
Yeah.
last Twin Peaks thing he ever did, and he wanted to have something unanswered, right?
Mm.
There is something about the way Philip Jeffries, he says like, I'm not going to talk about Judy, and then he like sees Coop and reacts, and he's like, who do you think that is there? Almost as if he like wouldn't want Coop or evil Coop to know about Judy, whatever that means.
Yeah.
I also love his "We live inside a dream." Again, this is like ding ding ring the bell, Twin Peaks dreams. Like they live in the TV show, they live in the movie is a dream, David Lynch. But it's just a great thing to have a character
David
just
Lynch.
say in the middle of like all this crazy shit.
Yeah, I completely missed that, to tell you the truth.
So
Woof.
otherwise convenience store stuff. There's a guy wearing a like plaster mask with a big nose jumping on and off of a crate and holding a little like weird wand. And in this scene, we
Uh-huh.
see the boy, Treeman's grandson, also have the mask in front of his face for a second as he tells Bob, fella victim. And then
Hmm.
later, when during Leland's flashback to canceling the threesome, we do see the little boy jumping with the mask and holding the wand. This is the kind of thing that is easy to miss, even seeing the movie twice in a couple days. And I'm just gonna like put this out there. This is like we have seen like the giant and the waiter be like
Hmm.
superimposed, and like these characters are like overlapping and maybe the same person. I think it's reasonable to draw that somehow the boy and this jumping guy are also somehow entangled or superimposed.
Yeah, that makes sense to me. I feel like they wouldn't have two unrelated characters having the same super striking, weird,
Yeah.
identifiable trait. As far as the mask, I love how paper mache it is. Like,
Yeah.
it has that same kind of, I don't know what to call it other than dinginess. Um, the long nose is interesting to me. I mean, that could just be like to make it like it's a very long nose. It's like an 8-inch completely straight nose.
Mhm.
I think of first off, Pinocchio. Are
Mm.
these guys or this guy trying to lead people astray? Honestly, that wasn't my read. I kind of was thinking that this was a good guy,
Mhm.
given that he shows up later with his grandmother doing what it seems to me like a helpful action. I'm not reading every character in this like whatever you want to call it other place as like possessing the same moral or societal goals as Bob. Like they all seem to be warning people of Bob, which is really interesting. I don't know what to make of that. It's sort of like the Greek gods all had their own
Mm.
little issues with each
I
other.
feel like Greek gods is actually a great like point of comparison because like yeah, have their issues with each other, and also like uh, famously broadly the gods, we like them, they help us, but also might turn you into a swan or turn you into a spider if you say that you're better at weaving than her or whatever, you know? Um, like
Sure.
there's a sense, I think, at least I have a sense in that mythology of like a certain sense of like gods as force of nature and having a kind of arbitrary capacity to like flatten human life that I think exists here. Um,
Hmm.
but yeah, I think that connects to like the thing I was going to say, which is like, what is their
Mhm.
motivation? Because it is complex. Like when the boy who we've been told is like learning magic, and I think it is fair to say in David Lynch's oeuvre that a magician and a movie director are aligned ideas.
It feels like a pretty good reason that you would hire your son or your grandson to be a magician character.
Yeah, totally. Also in Inland Empire a lot, I would say, like there's a character in Inland Empire who is defined by like he would wiggle his hands and people would do what he says, and he's like uh evil phantom magician slash like specter of the idea of a movie director. And there's a similar thing going on
Mhm.
here where the kid like raises and points at Bob and says, "Fell a victim." And that seems
Right.
to be like, "Go Bob, kill someone. I support this." Um we
Mm.
and it seems like we know that Mike, even if by now he seems to have like, seen the face of God and taken his arm clean off, he still wants the Garmonbosia and still like subsists on it, relies on Bob to get it, unclear.
True.
And similarly, it like we know that we've seen the son eat creamed corn, but way before that was something that had been given this other meaning. Um,
Yeah.
and it seems like these spirits are like by their nature still like exist in a like food chain in which they feed on pain and suffering, but have other motives and are less like strictly like I don't know, chaotic evil, to use like D&D alignment terms, as Bob, you know?
Sorry, you said they're not as strictly chaotic evil?
Yeah.
Yeah, they seem maybe a little bit more like vampires, where it's more like, yeah,
Mm.
this is the thing we do, this is how we live. It's interesting that they intervene in the plot at all, to be
Yeah.
honest with you.
Yeah.
Like if Bob is sort of their guy in the real world, why are they showing up to give hmm. Honestly, I keep thinking about how like these characters do just exist in the physical world. Like they live in a trailer. They live in a house. Um
Yeah.
that's so crazy to me. And I guess how could you not intervene if you're just like you're around?
Yeah. One, I will just say my last thing on this Philadelphia scene, the end,
Yeah.
as like we're getting this crescendo of like literally two scenes that are both chaotic being played at once, and the blue static overlay and the
Yeah.
crazy sounds, and then it all ends with Albert's hardest line, in which he's like, Coop saying like, "Where is he? Where did he go? He left." And Albert just like, as all of the cacophony silences for his line, "I've got the front desk on the line. He was never here." Goes so hard.
Hmm. Yeah, and they sort of believe for a second that he was never here, which is really strange.
Yeah, it's really good.
Sort of in the same way that later Laura's like, "You killed Mike," and Bobby's like, "Did I kill Mike?"
Yeah, 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 yeah. Um, so okay, so because then we get the trailer park again with Dale going there, and this is what makes me think that um it the ring was not under Teresa's trailer, because he's wandering around. We'll get to the great line between him and Harry Dean Stanton. I do have it ready for us to get the audio, because I think that's when we can just put the audio in the episode. Um,
Sure.
but there's a trailer that's gone, and like the dirt under it looks kind of like similarly to the dirt that had the ring on it. It's just dirt. But he's like, "Who lived here?" And he's like, "The Chalfonts." Um, I know the people before them here were the Chalfonts too. And importantly,
Man.
the people that we've been calling Miss Tremont in this movie, like that actress is credited as Chalfont.
Yeah.
Like,
I'm so glad you pointed that out because there's no way I would have caught that.
yeah.
I was figuring that probably Philip Gerard slash Mike was assuming the name Chalfont because later we see him
Mm.
in a camper van.
Oh, that's true. Yeah. But I think we're to understand that Tremont slash Chalfont and her grandson were there. And that also seems like somehow they had the ring and it was under their trailer, and like that's part of what whisked Chet
Mm.
Desmond away. And like these are all things that I think lead us to see like these spirits that in the original run seemed more helpful, beneficial, are in this movie like have their motivations. Like at least when we met Mrs. Tremond, it was like, oh, she's nice and her grandson's cool. They were weird, but they gave us a clue. And
Yeah.
Mike was very explicitly like, Bob is my enemy, let's get him. In this movie, it's much more opaque, and what their motivations are
Yes.
seem to be much more self-interested, and they're
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
intervening in Laura and like in some sense opposed to what Bob wants, but it doesn't feel like they have her best interests at heart.
I agree. Yeah. How strange.
Do we want to get the audio of this great amazing exchange with Harry Dean Stanton?
Sure, sure.
Okay. Because this is just another like a little bit as when he goes back to the trailer park that's just really good. Um for
Oh my God, this.
Yes. Because I wrote it down. I saw you wrote it down. I'm like, well, we have to do it. I'm
It's so
at
funny.
31:51, and I'm gonna hit play in 3, 2, 1, play.
That's not the way out to Deputy Cliff's trailer, I told you.
I'm not going to Deputy Cliff's trailer.
Well, where the hell are you going?
He's so upset.
I'm going over here.
What's over there? God damn, these people are confusing me.
And pause. I love that. I love that bit so much. Just like, God damn, these people are confusing.
This is like, in a way, the only fourth wall break in the show. I know that's insane to say, but like, there's no character who's an audience surrogate in the way that he is. Just like, wow, these characters are so strange in this,
Yeah.
It's so delightful.
I love also the Let's Rock on the window, like the windshield, and then when you see it from the
Uh-huh.
inside, it's backwards.
Oh my God. Oh my God. Yeah.
Yeah. And like
That's crazy.
and also just what a like thing that like it just again reframes the Let's Rock from his first dream is so much more ominous, you know?
Yeah, it's much, I mean, it's like maybe Fire Walk With Me is
Mhm.
Mike or Bob's thing, and Let's Rock is like serves the same purpose for the
Yeah,
arm,
no,
you know?
absolutely. Absolutely. I agree. So after that said, with 2 hours on recording time, it's time for Laura Palmer.
Yeah, it's gonna take a while. Okay. So if I'm not mistaken, what happens here is we get the Twin Peaks theme, we get a shot of like we get the same shot that usually the title goes
Yeah.
over, and then we got Laura walking
Well,
down the street.
and the shot of the title is like we just had Dale say like he will kill again, but we don't know where or when, and then smash cut to Twin Peaks population 50,000 whatever, the theme playing, and it
Mm,
says 1 year later, and it just immediately feels so like a perversion of the Twin Peaks theme in intro, you know? It just feels evil.
sure. It does feel evil. It feels so much more pointedly ominous.
Yeah.
Yeah, and of all things, this is the bit that made me cry. Not the
Yeah.
evilness, but like seeing Laura walk down the street alive and seemingly feeling okay.
Yeah. Yeah.
It's sort of the last time we will see her feeling okay.
Yeah.
But this morning she's just walking to school, picking up Donna on the way, and then I don't know, they're having a sweet little moment. They joke around with Bobby and Mike on the way over. And from here, like even in the very next scene that she's in, she's doing coke in the bathroom,
Yeah.
and then she's having sort of this moment with James where she's saying like I'm long gone,
Yeah.
which is so heavy, so fucked up. Um this little walking moment is like one moment of quiet that does not foretell immediate doom,
Yeah.
you know?
Yeah.
I'm always talking about how little moments of quiet are where the evil gets in
Mm.
the show and also my brain. So yeah, I think as soon as this hit, I was just like overcome with sort of gratitude that it exists, you know? Like,
Yeah.
let's hang out with women.
Yeah. I really love as she's walking. So I know there was the missing pieces is like all the deleted scenes from this movie, and it's like a full length movie's worth of it. And you can tell when there are bits of it where like as she's walking up, James comes up and is like, "Hey," and then it just like clearly that was the intro to a longer scene in which James talks to her in the stairway, like before the turkey one. But then it just cuts to her in the bathroom, and I can see why they made the decision to be like, and we're seeing everyone and we see James and this is just our intro thing. But the energy is kind of like James comes up and starts saying something and the show's like, whatever, next scene, don't care.
Oh, it's so funny. My read of that was that he found her just to stare into her eyes for a little while, like, and then not say anything, which is
Honestly,
like
real too.
even stranger.
Yeah. Um, let's talk about the turkey scene. I see you have notes on this.
Yeah. Do you mind if I give one quick note on this like hallway thing first?
Please.
So as Laura is about to like split up with Donna to go to the bathroom and do coke, just the way she looks at Donna has
Yeah.
so much in it. It's like it's a real true love and longing, and it's like I think she really feels this like unbridgeable gap between the two of them.
Mm-hmm.
You know, this is her watching her friend go off and do normal school stuff, and she's gonna go do drugs, and she's like sad that it has to be this way, but she very much thinks that it does. She does
Yeah.
not want Donna to know what she's going to do. Really, just this is the start of their arc in this movie, which is one of the best things about the movie, and it was really, I don't know, just such a slight thing. Anyway,
Yeah.
gobble gobble time.
So, how do you feel about Gobble Gobble? I feel like this is a bit of a infamous scene in this movie.
This is crazy. Yeah, so Laura has this wonderful line, quit trying to hold on so tight. I'm gone, I'm long gone. And she's speaking on this very broad philosophical level and saying, I'm like a turkey in the corn, metaphorically, as a way to say like, you'll never find me. And James is just not on that level. And so he thinks, oh, she thinks she's like a turkey, like like an actual turkey in personality and stuff. And so, God, yeah, I don't know how much the scene works for me, but it ends at her going gobble, gobble, gobble. And I think the campiness is just not what I want from the emotional moments in this movie, maybe. Yeah, this is not my fave. It's insane.
I think I am a Gobble Gobble defender.
Wow, defend that gobble, girl.
If so, so I mean, one, it is very funny, like James with his forehead growing bigger and bigger, trying so hard to figure out what his girlfriend is saying, being like, "You're not a turkey. Turkey's one of the dumbest birds on earth. You're a girl." But I think this is like I think what it is that Laura delivers the like gobble gobble with like Cheryl Lee delivers it with like full genuine pathos. Like this is Laura Palmer feeling trapped, unable to say why she feels like she's lost, and she's just going, "Fuck it, I'm stupid. I'm what you think I like, whatever, you know." And I think it
Mm.
reminds me a lot of the pilot, how the pilot was on this like knife's edge of really feeling the tragedy and the horror and like the camp.
Mm-hmm.
And and for that, like I think the first time I watched it, I was also like, I don't know about this, but I think for how much the rest of the movie really doesn't, spend a lot of time in camp, I like that we have this little bit of it of that, like that particular energy.
Sure, that's fair. Yeah, I'm happy for you.
um, let's talk about the Bobby.
Let's talk about the Bobby. Let's get Bobby with it. She and Donna are leaving the school, and Bobby comes up and just says, "What is it like? Hey, am I going to see you tonight?" or something like that, or something about the drugs. It doesn't super matter.
I think in the interest of not having to of like not getting too stuck on like recapping all this and like all the details, I think let's just cut to what's important. He's kind of shitty to her and is like grabs her forcefully, and she's like, like gets him like, come on, do a little smile, and then it works, and then he just walks backwards into the school while a
He goes, "Love you,
crazy
babe."
song and like spoken word thing happens, and like all of the other background characters are also like tumbling around.
Yeah, it's very choreographed. It's like a music video.
Heard once that this what like him walking backwards was also shot backwards in the Black Lodge style. When I watch it, I don't know that that's actually true because a lot of people are just walking
Yeah,
normally, but it certainly evokes that. Like he is
it
walking
does evoke
backwards
that.
as someone would walk forwards. But I just love how it's like this by with her charm, she has controlled genre and put him and everyone else in this courtyard into this like weird genre space, you know?
Man, my read of it is almost the opposite, which is like he has just finished being violent with her and now he's doing the Red Rooms thing. And it's more like,
Mm.
that violence is continuous with his violence.
You know what? I think I like your read better, honestly. Like this, yeah, that is like leaking in through him.
Yeah, one thing I do like about this though, and with all of the Laura and Bobby scenes, is she's like really barely intimidated by this violence because she's used to so
Yes,
much
yes,
worse.
yes,
That
yes.
this is a kind of violence that she can actually laugh at and like struggles to take seriously.
Mm-hmm.
It's
Absolutely.
almost to her it's like, ah, this isn't real in a way that is like genuinely protective because
Yeah,
she's like calling his bluff.
yeah. No, absolutely, absolutely.
Also, I need to find this like spoken word poem music thing because it's fucking great.
Yeah,
It's really good. And it comes back later too, doesn't it? Like the exact same piece.
yeah,
I've never seen spoken word poetry used as a soundtrack before. It's awesome.
yeah. It's pretty good. It's pretty good. Um, I do really want to talk about the Laura and Donna scene after this.
Yeah, let's do it.
There's a part of this that's just like Donna being like, "Oh, oh, but James is so great. Bobby's just a goon." That I'm like, sure, whatever. But the thing that really gets me,
Hmm.
actually, sorry, I'll say a bit about that, because at this point, Donna is still dating Mike, and she does say, "I wonder if Mike could ever write a poem." Sorry, Queen, only for Nadine.
Yeah.
um, but this is like, she's like, "Who do you see at night?" Or like, "What were you doing it last night?" And Laura's like, "What? Since when do you care who I see at night? Night is my time." And it's like, no, it's not, honey. It's just the time that you can't tell anyone about, and you're.
Oof.
And
Oh man.
but the bit that really kills me is the like, if you were falling in space, do you think you would slow down or get faster and faster? And Laura's response to that. Honestly, do we want to get that audio and put that in? Because that's like definitional for me of this, like for this of this movie.
Sure. Yeah, I so want to hear what you have to say about this.
Yeah, let me find it.
Do you think that if you were falling in space, that you would slow down after a while or go faster and faster? Faster and faster. And for a long time, you wouldn't feel anything. And then you'd burst into fire. Forever. And the angels wouldn't help you. Because they've all gone away.
Oof.
Yeah. Oh God, that shit is like truly breaks my heart. Like that's the bit where I
Oh my
start tearing up
God.
already.
Yeah.
And like, of course, like when the angel in the painting goes away, near the end, then it's like, oh God. But it's just like,
Yeah.
it's just so like, Donna is speaking on this one level of like almost would you rather? Like, do you think? And Laura's like, yeah. It like the way she answers immediately, like it is faster and faster. It never slows
Yeah,
down. Is like
sh-
Christ.
she's like
It's
currently experiencing it, right?
yeah, yeah. Oh God.
Yeah, man. I think I went into this movie expecting to see more of her like trying to confront the danger. Like there was that thing
Hmm.
about I thought there was that thing in her diary about how she was going to try to destroy Bob or like confront Bob or something, you know? And it feels like instead she just feels doomed from the start. It's heartbreaking.
Yeah, I mean, it's like I think because there is a diary where like she's like, "I'm gonna die today," you know. But I
Yeah.
think it's like that's what makes it hit so hard for me is like she is in this position that feels completely helpless, and I think it's like I have a lot of this that I like. Or it's certainly a lot of notes on this later on, but like I'll get into this now. Is like I think
Sure.
what hits so hard about it, and like everything I was saying at the beginning of like why I think this works so well just for this experience of like being an
Mm-hmm.
isolated young woman in this situation is like
Mm-hmm.
she on the one hand is like doomed by the narrative because this is a prequel to the show that's about her murder,
Yes.
and that is intertwined, like it doesn't just leave it at that. I think that's intertwined with like
Mm-hmm.
the failure of the town to help her in any way, you know. I think this movie captures for me this is going to be a crazy reach, but I think a lot about
Mm-hmm.
Austin Walker on his podcast about the Star Wars prequel film Revenge of the Sith, um
Okay.
in which he's like what makes a good tragedy like this, and like the idea of like this kind of tragedy where you know the ending is that you know it's doomed, and as you're watching it you're like, God, but it feels like if you could just change one thing and maybe it would work out, and you want to
Yeah.
believe, you know.
Yeah.
And that's less true in this
Totally.
movie because it's a lot more obviously doomed than Revenge of the Sith. But like,
Hmm.
um, I feel this way about the Golden Age and Berserk as well. But like, also
Hmm.
Romeo and Juliet, famously, right? Like you go in and at the beginning of the play, the like guy says these two are gonna die, and then you watch the whole play and you're like, maybe, but maybe they'll make it work, but it can't. It's impossible, right? This is
Yeah,
like
completely.
the and I think like what really gets me, and again, why I think it is a failure to just read this as a like metafictional thematics thing is like it's so obvious that she is not okay. Donna knows it, James know it.
Oh God,
Again,
yeah.
that last day, she spends all day at school sobbing. No one says
Yeah, and the
anything. The
day
teacher doesn't do shit.
call on her. No, not at all.
Like
She's like totally adrift in time.
the log lady who like has been the character that honestly, if anyone in the town is like the most able to like intervene, just shows up later to tell her like you're fucked. Like and part of that is this sense of like supernatural doom because of the supernatural things, and like how she is literally doomed by the narrative. That is like her death is inescapable.
Yes.
But also it just feels like it is also like someone could do something if
Yeah,
if
completely.
our if our society and like American society, like small towns, big towns, patriarchy, if we lived in a world where people would be like, oh, this young woman is clearly in danger and is not okay and is clearly like sexually imperiled, and did something about it, she could be saved.
Yeah.
And she feels like she can't tell anyone because of how this like little puppet stage play world that has been made exclusively to doom her is also how our fucking like when you're 17 and you live in a small town and this shit is happening to you and you feel like you can't do anything and you can't tell anyone and you're just doomed, and there's no way for her to see the idea of confronting it, and that's like so heartbreaking to me, and is so like
Mm.
that's what fucking gets me in this movie.
I mean, I have to wonder because she has tried telling people about Bob, for instance. She
Yeah.
tried to tell Harold about Bob, and Harold just did not believe her.
Yeah,
I think like
the first thing he
the
says is like, "Bob
things
isn't real." Is like, "Oh my god, fuck you."
the things well, Bob, I think Harold thinks that she is like undergoing some kind of psychosis or something, and it would seem that way outwardly. Like I think the thing she is going through is like reality breaking, and there's almost like an eldritch quality to it, right? Like just people are somehow completely unable to see it because they think it's too bad to be real.
Well, and I think it's also just that, like, this culture believes in looking away from things. Like, I think it's not just that it sounds too crazy. I think that, like, this is an accurate snapshot of a culture. And it's like, I'm gonna say
Yeah.
American small town, also certainly true in, like, Canadian big city, where if a 17-year-old girl says to you, "This older man has been sexually assaulting me for years," a lot of people impulse is to go like, "Don't worry about that."
Yeah, yeah. Because if they're not acknowledging it, then it's like not real somehow.
Yeah.
Or yeah, to be sure, I'm not saying that they really hmm. I think acknowledging that this is happening would shatter their self-conception and their understanding of the place where they live, and that's part of what makes it impossible, probably.
Like, I think if Harold was a good friend, he would respond to that with, like, more, like, not just, like, "Well, that's not real," you know? And this is the
Yeah,
thing, I
yeah,
think, like, everyone
absolutely.
in her life is failing her, and it's so fucked up.
I think so too. Even the people who want to, like, who actually do, I think, care about her, don't. I don't even know what it is. Like, Donna is really worried. James is really worried, but they can't, none of the things they do are the things that she needs.
Yeah.
I guess my question, though, is like, what could have been done? You know, like, I want to believe with this read, like, I don't want to believe that any of this was inevitable, but what could they have done? I think they could have believed her. They could have listened.
Yeah.
They could have asked how they can concretely help, you know? But I guess I'm pretty deep in the helplessness too with this movie, you know? Like in the same way that Laura is. And like I don't think by the end she had just accepted that help wasn't coming,
Yeah.
you
I
know?
mean, I think this is also where you get the, like, you butt up against the doomed by the narrative, like, of it all, where, like, I
Uh-huh.
think, yeah, they could have, like, talked to her about what she's experiencing and tried to get her to a safer place, and I don't know, leave town or whatever. But I think for that to be true, they would have to be in a different genre and, like,
Mm,
not in the Twin Peaks where, like the spiritual forces are, like, aligning the planets for her to die, you know?
sure. Yeah. Yeah, totally.
I think it's like, I think both are true. I think that anyone could have done something, and I also think even if they had, it kind of would have been pointless, you know?
Mhm. Oh, this is so messed up, dude. This is so messed up.
But yeah, I think that's also the bulk of what I would have to say about her, with I wrote Howard Harold. Apart from just, like, the one shot of her in the makeup is really scary and really good, and also Cheryl Lee's performance is fucking amazing. But I think a lot of what I have to say there is just this thing of, like, wow, he and everyone in her life is failing her. But what do you have to say?
What I have to say is Harold does sympathize. He at least like he fully acknowledges that she is suffering, but the sympathy is sort of the extent of what he does, right? It's sort of
Mm,
like when Maddie is dying and instead of doing something about it, Dale is crying at the is it the roadhouse?
yeah.
Laura knows, like, Laura recognizes everyone around her responding this way. Just like
Mhm.
very sad that she's sad, and she's like super bitter about it. She does not want the sympathy. I think she wants actual understanding and she wants help, probably.
Mhm.
I really like how Harold is trying to be like, oh, that's horrible. And instead of talking more, she like sort of gets up on her knees and her eyes go super wide and she screams into his face, "Fire, walk with me."
Yeah.
And like, this is basically to make him understand the danger. She sort of has to embody it, like, become the evil, right?
Mhm.
And this is where there's the shot of her in like the white paint with like black lipstick. I think in this moment, like because of her intense pain, Bob is gaining some ground over her,
Yeah,
basically,
no, absolutely, yeah.
which is really, really fucked up. I think about how Leland suffered the same things that Laura is suffering. And whatever his coping mechanism was, it led him to integrate the danger. It let him like
Mm-hmm.
integrate, not in the therapy sense, but
Mm-hmm.
like
Mm-hmm.
absorb it
Mm-hmm.
as a way to gain control over it. It feels like that is like she is taking a step in that direction here, and she's like horrified that that's what she's done, and that's why she storms out.
Yeah.
I think she sees her father in herself here.
Absolutely. Um, I actually lied because I do have more things to say about this sequence. I think like one is just like when she is walking into her home and like seeing the living room. Every time we see the Palmer living room, it's immediately foreboding, you know. And I love that like there's a ripping sound effect as she like realizes that a page is gone from the diary. I think the thing I really want to say about when she's with Harold is she also like as she's panicking just starts making out with him, and
Yeah.
that's also I'm like I don't fuck with Harold here. I think your thing that he's being like Dale is spot on because again, the both of them in that case are not helping, and I don't read it as sympathy. I think it's like he is feeding on her pain and suffering, on her Garmonbosia, like Dale is. It's being
Mm.
turned into a spectacle. And like she's like, you made me write it down. His whole thing was he wanted to write it down so you could read about other people's lives or whatever. Like
Oh
the
God.
consumption of these women's experience of pain and sorrow is what Dale is doing in that moment and is what he's doing here and it's what the spirits are doing. Like I
Completely.
think I
Yeah.
don't read it as sympathy. And it's like again, he kept this from Donna throughout all of season 1 and 2 when she was
That's
investigating.
true.
And like he was like, "Oh, and I was in love with her and she told me that she'd been getting raped since she was 12 and then she made out with me. I like her so much. She's hot." Like it's
Jesus
you know,
Christ.
like fuck this guy, you know? But
No, you're right. You're right.
I think her making out with him is the first thing of something that I think I will come back to a lot in a lot of future scenes, which is like I think throughout this whole movie, Laura is doing what actually you know what it reminds me of is Wild at Heart. Everything with the like Bobby Peru and all that. If you don't know what I'm talking about, listeners, pay us $3 and listen to our Wild at Heart episode because it's really good. Everything I said there about like sublimating your desire into the things that are being forced onto you and able to find your desire in it in some capacity seems like Laura is doing that constantly in this movie. She is knows what the men around her want to hear and want from her,
Yeah.
and
Mm-hmm.
her only card to play is to give that to them, and then is trying to in that space find her own desire in it and like I think this happens with James. I think this happens with Jacques Renault and the Fuckhead Canadians. I honestly think the assault
Yeah.
scene with Bob, there's a bit of that too, of
Yeah,
like,
before he comes in.
yeah, absolutely. Of like, you're in this situation where these men are forcing their desires on you constantly, including James, I think. And all you can do is try to use that to get what you want and what you need from them and to try to
Hmm.
like your
Yeah.
sense of your own desire is molded by having to perform for these men and you can only try to like sublimate into them and find like what is what is something that I could want and some kind of like desire that I could find
Yeah.
in having to perform and being forced into this for these people. And I think that's happening
Yeah.
here too with her being making it with Harold, right?
That makes total sense to me. Yeah, it totally.
Um so that whole sequence we get another little check-in on Dale Cooper with him being a lot more psychic than he was in the show, honestly, where he's like
Yeah.
very clearly describing uh Laura as being the next victim. My note was, I'm filled with the knowledge that the killer will strike again, but because it's just a feeling, I'm powerless to stop it. Isn't that Dale Cooper in a nutshell?
Yeah. Yeah. That's so true actually. He always has the feeling, but it never takes in the place that it needs to. The premonitions he has, like this is interesting too. He has premonitions that it's a woman, blonde, in high school, sexually active, using drugs, and so on. And Albert says like
Crying
that
out for
doesn't
help.
narrow it down. Crying out for help. Yeah. You know what? I actually forgot what I was going to say about that.
Well, I'll
So we
say
can
something
just
about it, which is Albert is like, that's half the high school girls in America, which is like kind of a joke, but also like, yeah, it's America. Like, Laura Palmer is in hell, and so are half the high school girls. You know what I mean? Like, half the high
Yeah,
schoolers are
yeah,
crying out for help, you know?
totally.
So and his vision is like she's preparing a great abundance of food, which brings to the Meals on Wheels, which I think like really brings us into the next big sequence of like realizing that Leland is Bob. So she's at the Meals on Wheels, the Chalfonts show up, they give her the painting, and the boy is like, the man behind the mask is looking for the book. He's under the fan now. He's approaching the hiding place, and she's like, "Fuck, Bob is trying to find where my diary is. It's a good thing that I gave it away already." But she's like, "I need to run home." We'll come back to the painting later with the dream sequence and everything, but like she runs home, and like this sequence is so fucking scary. Fucking David Lynch is so good at like the horror of what is around the corner in this interior house. Like just the seeing the ceiling fan, the staircase that we've seen over and over, and creeping up it, and the just ever so slowly edging into the
Mm-hmm.
bedroom, and then Bob is there, and the way he just fucking snarls is like such a fucking, it's like the fucking guy behind Winkies but dialed up, you know, like it's like, you know, that he's there,
Yeah,
and it's like a dream, and it's horrifying, and then he is, and it's what you thought and were scared and knew would happen.
completely.
And and then of course she runs out, and she's like on the grass and sees Leland come out. And it, you know, you're saying like so much of the bad things in Twin Peaks happen at night, but I think this is like a really effective, like horrifying daytime scene, because like it's the horror
Yeah.
of like it's all out there now, and Leland's just kind of
Mm.
whistling as he goes off to his car, as she's like, "Oh my god, no, it
She's
can't
just
be
like,
him, it's not him," but like knowing that it is, you know?
yeah, fuck. And like even knowing it, there is a time that she continues to try to pretend as if it's not true, right? Because like I
Yeah,
think the scale of that horror is just, it's a fucking lot to bear and a lot to process. And so
yeah,
she's definitely way more off and way more wary around her dad from this point. But it's not it's not until later after the assault where she like sees his face.
yeah,
But it's not until later that she totally accepts it and like tries to really put more distance between herself and her dad.
hmm,
I think maybe just because, yeah, there is the superposition of these two guys who look completely different is not something that she can really comprehend until she sees it happen right in front of her.
yeah,
And then it's like, then she's really fully awake to it. She tries to live in denial for a bit longer. Same same thing that the rest of the town does. Same thing the
yeah.
police do against all evidence during the investigation.
Well, and I think like what's so good about this as like the daylight horror scene with that is like, what makes this thing so horrifying is that it can just happen in broad daylight, right? Like the
Mm-hmm.
nature of patriarchy and like the nuclear family in which the father like owns his daughter is like, yeah, you know, like it's uh and like the
Yeah.
she goes like when she just runs to Donna sobbing and is like, "Are you my best friend?" just fucking kills me.
Oh my God. Oh my God. Oh, yeah, no, that was really devastating. And Donna like doesn't entirely know what to do. I mean, what do you have to say about Donna and Laura
I
here?
mean, God, it's like I think it was in one of the, I think it might have been like Arbitrary Law or something, where like Donna had said, like, I remember once Laura came to me and asked if I was her best friend, but like seeing it here, she's just like
Mm.
so, and Donna's like, "Oh no, what's wrong?" And like Laura just can't bring herself to say it. Like she just can't. And I think this is so like, on the one hand it is like it's everything that we'll see played out a lot more later on, but like
Yeah.
with her being like, I'm all alone. I can't do this alone. I need to have Donna with me, and like, can I trust you? Are you my best friend? But like can't bring herself to actually tell her, you know? And like that just kills me. And the I don't know, just like formless reaching out for her. But it is again also like, Donna, you have to do more. You can't just be like, yeah, I'm your friend. Anyway, you're having a crazy day. I guess we'll go out later. Like it's I think I'm sure
Sure.
I would not surprise me at all if this is something that there's like a deleted scene, but
Mm.
I think as it is here, it really is like just the raw the rawness of where Laura's at and the inability of Donna to really see it and understand it and hear it and respond to it, but like really trying her best just fucking kills me. And this segues into the oh god. Oh, this movie's so rough. The whole Leland, what I have called the Leland abuse sequence, which is in what is honestly, I think, like maybe the most disturbing scene of the movie. Like, there's a lot of other stuff that is more intense. This scene is like so horrifying in such a down to earth way. So it's like my read on this is very much like it's funny because when first Leland walks out and he's like, doo 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 doo, my note was like, does Leland remember that? Like, remember seeing her when he was Bob trying to get the diary or whatever? And to me, the answer is like, yes. And that they are like
Mm-hmm.
superimposed because like
Yeah.
he is taking it out on her. She gets home and he's like, "Oh, sit down." And then he's like, "You sat
Completely.
down and didn't wash your hands," and like calling her filthy,
Oh,
using it as an excuse to get up to her to grab the locket and be like, "Is this from your lover?"
that's
Grabbing her
so
hands, he grabs the
gross.
ring finger of her left hand. He says, "There's dirt way under this fingernail." Of course, we think of the stuffing the letter under the fingernail.
Mm-hmm. Yes, of course.
He's like pinching her cheek as she just like her face is like so horrified. Sarah's trying to be like, "Stop that. She doesn't like that. They don't call them lovers in high school." And of course, like being like, "This is your fault. You're filthy." Like it's such a mundane.
Yeah.
Like I think what makes it like this is just like abusive dad stuff. It's not supernatural. It's not over the top and like stabbing knife and choral music and whatever. It's just like
Totally.
this is what it is, and like I think this also like to me is like part of this movie like putting the nail in the coffin of the idea of Leland being innocent. A
Mm-hmm.
lot of things in this movie that do that, but I think this
Yes.
especially is like this to me is Leland was content to work with Bob because he got to be the abusive patriarch and he got to like exert power over the family in this way.
Mm.
You know what I mean? Like this abuse doesn't feel like Bob's grandiose murder. This is just like I get to exert power over my wife and my daughter and I'm going to do it,
Yes. No, totally. It's the kind of thing that just happens in a normal house, in 1,000 normal houses in every city on every day.
Yeah. Yeah.
And I actually don't know if I've seen something like this on screen before, which is so
Right?
weird.
Yeah.
It's I think there's so much like underexplored territory and just like you can have a normal conversation where no one says anything that's directly all that cruel or scary
Mhm.
and that can still just be scarring. And also Laura knows that she can't call him on this. Like
Yeah.
she can't say you told me to sit down or I didn't know you wanted me to wash my hands or anything. Like which to me sort of establishes very clearly this is the norm,
Yeah.
right? Like this is happening habitually. She is used to being treated this way and has given up on trying to defend herself. And even Sarah seems to have that same kind of helplessness.
Yeah.
Like, oh my God, Sarah in the scene, it's really the biggest scene for her. And
Mhm.
she's fantastic. She is shouting at Leland to stop, but she doesn't come over there because she's also terrified. This probably feels like it's happening to her in a way.
Well, and honestly, there's like certainly like this and the drugging later on and him like forcing her to drink the whole milk. I'm like, I think I mentioned it to you, but like I have seen people online say Sarah Palmer is complicit in this.
Mm.
And that was part of some other lore stuff that we will get into in quite a handful of season 3 episodes in the future. But like, I want to say to those guys, fuck yourself. Kill yourself now. Cause like like, she literally in this scene here is trying to protect Laura. And honestly, the other thing that I like noted later on is like, when I think about this situation and Bob as Leland and like this thing, I can't, like, it's something that is never on screen that the show never really asks, is like, was he also raping and like being abusive and assaulting Sarah Palmer? And
Right.
that's not something that the show asks, and so I think it's something that a lot of people are like, well, no, he was doing that to Laura. But like, I see. I mean, obviously he's forcibly drugging her. Like, I I have to
She's
imagine.
very scared of him.
Yes, like it feels obvious to me that that is happening off screen also, and
Yeah.
I think so. That's just my fuck you corner to guys online that are like, and Sarah Palmer is also complicit and part of the problem, and I'm like, girl, go kill yourself. Anyway,
I honestly think that she is probably in the same like haze as Laura is. Like
yeah, no,
she
absolutely.
probably feels like she's even what she does, which does not prevent the violence here, was probably really scary for her to muster.
And that I think part of what this kind of violence does, and this like these abusive situations, and this is what men do in these situations, is isolate the women from each other and make it so that these uh we're gonna again one day, whether for the podcast or not, we gotta watch Utena, because what
Uh-huh.
happens in these situations is they like it is these are engineered so that these women that are all like, experiencing similar or the same things are left feeling or being made to be unable to connect with each other about it, and they are totally isolated from each other, and it's so sad.
Yeah. It's so sad.
Ugh, yeah, just her sobbing as she's washing her hands is so fucked up. And like the
Oh my
the
God.
follow-up scene, we see like Leland in his bedroom, and he has his like
Yes.
rage face on, and then his face like breaks, and he's like crying. And I think this you could watch this and be like, and that's Leland taking control back from Bob and going and telling Laura he loves her and it's real and he's going to heaven, just like Dale said in Arbitrary Law. And I think that this also completely diffuses that, because
Yeah.
not only for all the reasons I just said about how I think Leland is like still being Leland there, but like him going and being like I love you reads to me as repulsive. He walks in, just walks into her room, no knock, no nothing, grabs her hand in the same way that he grabbed her hand at the dinner
Oh,
table. She immediately
yeah.
recoils and is like, oh God, he's grabbing my hand again. And he's like, I love you. And she like just shakes her head, is like, what the fuck? And like he doesn't think about how this is upsetting to her and what just
And he doesn't
happened and barging in.
apologize.
No, it's for him. This is like classic abuse cycle, right? Like the abuser is violent and then or like like fucked up to you and then has a like, oh my God, I'm so sorry. And that is like, this is like very documented, like this is very common of like how these things happen. And like he's just doing that and it's not redemptive and it's not for her, and it's just like to try to scrub himself of whatever, like his conscience out, whatever the fuck, and like
Mm-hmm.
it really also reminds me of like everything we were saying about like how in this show the show does believe that like love is redemptive and beautiful and true, but also is like has spent a lot of time, I think, with love, a way to express or feel love that is pointless.
Mm-hmm.
Harry and
Yeah.
Josie, obviously, like this, that is just about taking from someone, right?
Yeah, no, a completely selfish thing. You're expressing it because you want to, and that's like the desire that you have. About Leland here, I think so. I'm definitely not coming away from this thinking that there is a clean line between Leland and Bob. I think they are basically one entity. I think Bob has been accepted fully into Leland, and maybe they've like integrated in some way, but I do think that there are these moments of shame and guilt, including
Mm.
later when Leland kills Laura. I don't think it's lucidity. I don't think it's like before it was Bob and now it's Leland.
Yeah.
I think it's more like this is still a human being and he knows it's terrible, but he also it's man, I wish you had seen the Zone of Interest yet, because that is sort of
Mm.
one of the main things of that movie is you can be terrible and believe in what you're doing, but it will well up in your body and make you sick, you know?
Mm-hmm.
I think that's what this is. And it's not like a
Yeah.
meaningful regret, and it's not him being a good guy. It's just like his own actions haunting him, and he's disgusted with himself, even if he's not going to change, you know?
Oh, man. Well,
Fucked up.
we've been going for 3 hours and we have so much more to say. Do we want to take our break here?
Yeah, folks, we will be right back with, we will not be back with Tales from the Log. That feels deeply
Oh my
tonally
god,
inappropriate.
Tales from the Log would be insane. And also, okay, well, yeah.
Okay, well.
Lily, it's so funny because I think here's what happened. We were like, we don't need to go scene by scene, and then we started realizing how much we both have to say about each scene, and
That's it.
I think it's also just like it's harder, especially when talking about Twin Peaks, to break that pattern than to keep doing it. So I think we've just accepted that that's what we're doing, and this episode's going to be long as fuck, and we'll record again on Friday.
I'm like totally comfortable with that personally.
Yeah.
I think because this episode is as long as 3 Twin Peaks episodes, and it's more dense, so I don't want to give it less attention.
No, I
you know?
agree. I agree.
I think there's been some great theorizing this hour and hour and hour. TSTV is hosted by Sadie Avery Lake and yours truly, Lily Alexander. Our music is by Jamie Page. The art is by Maya Fernandez-Giles. This episode was edited by Sadie. Thank you, Sadie. If you want to get in touch with us, please email us at hello@tstv@gmail.com. We may include your mail on a future episode of the show. Let us know if that's okay. If you want to support the show and gain access to our monthly bonus episodes, head over to tstv.show. See you next time.